What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 9HT Chapter 161 8 trigrams? 6.4 million wind god palms. Well said. The strength of the Senju clan cannot be matched by our Hyuga clan. In my opinion, we'd better surrender. Hyuga Nobunaga was furious and shouted, Hyuga Zaifeng, do you still have any glory of my Hyuga clan? My Hyuga clan is also a big clan, with a large clan of 100,000 people. Surrender without a fight, tell the truth, I, the Hyuga clan, cannot afford to lose this person. Moreover, if we surrender without a fight, we, the Hyuga clan, will definitely be sent to the frontline battlefield by Senju. Let us fight to the death with Uchiha. We will still be dead by then. Now there are only 500 Senju people here. As long as we eat these 500 people in one go and take these 500 people as hostages, the Senju will be shocked by our strength on the one hand and pay enough attention to us. On the other hand, they will when we hold the hostages, it will be war or peace, and the initiative is in our hands. Hyuga Nobunaga looked at Hagoromo and said solemnly, Chief, we must fight this battle. 100,000 people, how can we scare 500 people? We claim to have 100,000 tribesmen, but only a few thousand can go to the battlefield. Hyuga Zaifeng responded tit for tat, besides, our ninjas haven't been on the battlefield in the past few years? Although the Senju only have 500 people, they have been fighting for many years, and their physical ninjutsu is extremely powerful. Even if we, the Hyuga clan, are all suppressed, if the 500 enemies are just bait, we will send out the whole army and the Senju will take out our lair. We will be more passive then. Zaifeng, why do you always speak for Senju, and are you so afraid of Senju? Nobunaga Hyuga lost his temper and began to attack him personally. Why are you the leader of the clan when you are so cowardly as a mouse? You should abdicate in favor of a worthy person. Hyuga Zaifeng smiled coldly. Hyuga Nobunaga, it seems that you are very confident in yourself. Okay. Since Nobunaga you want to fight Senju so much, then it will be up to your sect to fight Senju. Hyuga Nobunaga said angrily, why are you waiting for me here? Fighting the Senju is a major event for the entire Hyuga clan, and no branch clan can stay away from it. You want us to be cannon fodder, and you can reap the benefits from behind. Don't even think about it. The meeting room was noisy. Hyuga Hagoromo didn't stop. Such quarrels seemed to him a good thing. At least it shows that they are truly expressing their feelings. Actually consider it for the Hyuga family, but this huge difference really gave him a headache. What he is thinking about now is how to unite the Hyuga clan into one. In this way, whether it is fighting or surrendering. As long as everyone's hearts are firmly tied together and not divided, the Hyuga family can survive in this troubled world. Hagoromo listened to the argument, while looking at Ye Huo. Then I saw Ye Huo sitting there with his eyes closed tightly, saying nothing. Yuya looked at the clan leaders of each clan who were quarreling red and thick-necked, and couldn't help but shake his head. Take a look, he is several dozen years old, not even as good as a child. Yuya looked at Ye Huo and said slowly, Ye Huo, can you explain your plan in detail? Hearing this, Ye Huo raised his head and glanced at Yuya and said, if I say so, can you listen to me? Yuya was silent. Ye Huo sighed in disappointment, stood up immediately, turned and left. Ye Huo understood that even though he showed great talent, but his power is still very weak, he also has little prestige among the Hyuga clan. A person speaks softly. If you want to be recognized, you still need to be powerful. A large number of people in the Zong family gathered here. There is no room for it in Daze. Camps were set up one after another outside Daze. There was a moment of solemnity in the camp, with little laughter. Everyone knows that Senju came to Hyuga, although there are only 500 people. But the word Senju, it's as heavy as a mountain. Ye Huo came to the back mountain. I don't know when the war will start. Please give me flowers, he doesn't have much time left. Ye Huo raised his hands and pointed them like swords. Blue chakra bursts out from the fingertips and gathers into a chakra knife. Ye Huo began to try to inject the wind attribute chakra into it. The form of the chakra knife changes immediately. Ye Huo hurriedly weakened the infusion of wind attribute chakra. He must maintain the form of the chakra knife. Only in this way can effective cutting be ensured. Ye Huo kept trying. This trial lasts for 5 days. Early morning on the 6th day, Ye Huo still gets up early. 0. The number of guard ninjas within the sect increased. The interrogation also became extremely detailed. Some ninjas are sharpening kunai and shuriken. 1,000 times reward is triggered. The wind blade changed for a while and was about to burst. Ye Huo's spirit was concentrated to the extreme and he tried his best to control it. Ding! Congratulations to host for developing a new ninjutsu. Ye Huo closed his eyes tightly and used his thumb, little finger, and ring finger to inject the wind attribute chakra into the finger sword. It was only at this time that I thought of practicing. He had a feeling that he would succeed today. The fingers are like swords, and the chakra knife shoots out from the fingertips, an inch long. 2. Wind style 8 trigrams super powerful 64 wind god palm. 1. Wind Style 8 Trigrams 6.4 million Wind God Palm. What were you doing earlier? Finally, the shape of the chakra knife stabilized. Ye Huo shook his head. The width became narrower and the length increased by half an inch. It's better to save your energy and save more chakra now. Ye Huo took a deep breath, turned his gaze to a boulder in front of him, and assumed the stance of 8 trigrams with 6.4 million palms. Some Hyuga ninjas in the training room began to practice 8 trigrams air palm, and 8 trigrams 64 palms intensively. At that moment, Ye Huo took a series of palm shadows. Ye Huo came to the back mountain. Chapter 162. 100,000 times reward 8 trigrams? 100,000 turns revolving heaven? Ye Huo looked at the two rewards. Wind Style 8 trigrams 6.4 million Wind God Palm is based on 8 trigrams 6.4 million palm and incorporates the power of Windblade. One palm can still penetrate the target up to 10,000 times. This is very scary. Wind Style 8 trigrams super powerful 64 Wind God Palms is also an enhancement of 8 trigrams super powerful 64 palms. Ye Huo still feels that the former has more advantages. Then, I choose Wind Style 8 trigrams 6.4 million Wind God Palm. The choice is done. Strange energy surged in the body. Ye Huo feels that his control over the wind attribute chakra has been further strengthened. As long as he wants, he can transform the wind attribute chakra into a chakra wind blade at any time. Its cutting power is more than 100 times that of the 940 chakra knife. Ye Huo thought to himself, I don't know who is lucky enough to try his own Wind Style 8 trigrams 6.4 million Wind God Palm first. The corners of Ye Huo's mouth gradually turned up. He put his hands behind his head. Whistling, he walked down the mountain. Just entered Daze. The atmosphere in the village became even more depressing. Teams of ninjas kept transporting ninja tools, detonating charms, crossbows and other weapons of war. I happened to meet him lousy Hyuga Muzai. Ye Huo grabbed Muzai and said, Old man, what's going on? Is this going to start a war? Muzai knelt down, rubbed Ye Huo's head and said solemnly, Ye Huo, father knows that you are different from other children. You mature earlier than your peers, and you are even more of an adult than me, a father. Your uncle Nobunaga volunteered to fight against the Senju. My father could not let your uncle Nobunaga go into danger alone, so he decided to lead his clan Chunin to support your uncle Nobunaga. If I can't come back, you have to take good care of your mother and the clan. You are my son, Hyuga Muzai, and the future clan leader. This is your responsibility and obligation. Zai's expression suddenly became extremely solemn. Ye Huo listened quietly, and then said, Fighting Senju is a matter for the entire Hyuga clan, not for Nobunaga and the old man and your two tribes. I will go find Hagoromo. Muzai grabbed Ye Huo and said, It's useless. This was approved by all branch clan heads, and was finally decided by the chief. Remember what my father said, you must take good care of your mother and your tribe. Ye Huo looked at Muzai and said calmly, Your wife and your tribe are yours to protect, and I will go to the battlefield with you. Nonsense. Muzai was furious and slapped Ye Huo in an instant. Ye Huo waved his hand to block it, and an infinite evil spirit suddenly appeared around him. He looked at Muzai and said coldly, No one can stop my wish. Really, at this moment, the head of the Hyuga clan, Hyuga Yuya, walked over. He looked at Ye Huo and snorted softly, and said to a powerful Hyuga ninja beside him, Watch this kid, know my order is that he is not allowed to leave the sect. The powerful Hyuga ninja walked up to Ye Huo. Ye Huo looked at Yuya, Can you see me for 1 day, 3 days, 5 days, 10 days? If you don't let me go to the battlefield, sooner or later I will leave Hyuga. Yuya's face turned ugly for a while, and Muzai felt warm in his heart, but he was extremely anxious and shouted angrily, Don't talk nonsense. Think about it. Ye Huo's eyes were fixed and his expression was firm. No one or anything can shake his determination. Yuya's brows furrowed. This brat can really give him problems. What should we do? Suddenly, Yuya's heart moved and he thought of a good idea. Ye Huo, I know you have great talent. If you can learn the Hyuga clan's absolute defense, revolving heaven, before sunrise tomorrow. Then you have the power to protect yourself, and I will let you go to the battlefield. Hearing this, Muzai turned aside and said hurriedly, Commander, you can't do that. Hagoromo stopped Muzai with a wave of his hand, looked at Ye Huo and said, If you can't even agree to this, then I will never let you go to the battlefield. Hearing this, Ye Huo looked at Yuya for a while, then turned around and walked to the back mountain training ground, and at the same time dropped one word, okay. The nearby Hyuga tribe knew about the bet. They all went to the training ground to see if Ye Huo could learn revolving heaven in 1 day. Revolving heaven, the powerful secret technique of the Hyuga clan. Releasing a large amount of chakra from acupoints on the body and rotating it can produce powerful defense and can deflect ninjutsu and physical attacks. Known as absolute defense, learned a secret technique. Coupled with the Byakugan, you have the most powerful way to save your life on the battlefield. However, if you want to control the acupuncture points all over your body to release chakra at the same time in an instant, it must be connected in one piece, it must rotate, and it must be powerful enough to deflect ninjutsu and weak attacks. This is extremely difficult. Controlling so many acupuncture points requires a lot of effort. Ye Huo is still training. Ye Huo controls the acupuncture points in the body and releases chakra from the acupoints. Ding! Congratulations to host, you have learned the basic revolving heaven. However, the next moment, the eyes of the master of the Hyuga clan popped out. 4.7 However, 1 hour passed, 2 hours passed, 3 hours passed, and Ye Huo's chakra seemed to be inexhaustible. 1. 8 trigrams revolving heaven. The Hyuga ninja in the distance couldn't help but shake his head when he saw it. Is this revolving heaven? 2. 8 trigrams superpower revolving heaven. This way of consuming chakra and accumulating experience is quick, but how much chakra do you have is enough? 100,000 times reward is triggered. The master of the Hyuga clan shook his head and said, revolving heaven is not that easy to practice, you should give up. Even though the Hyuga clan is famous for controlling chakra, if you want to learn revolving heaven, it will take a genius from the Hyuga clan to do it. Then Ye Huo began to rotate, and the chakra was scattered and had no form at all. Then Ye Huo took a stance and rotated his body, forming a circular shield. The Hyuga clan's army is ready to go, and now Ye Huo is a monster among geniuses. Chapter 163 What is the real, strong man? Ye Huo set his sights on the first reward. Normal revolving heaven can only be rotated once. But 8 trigrams 100,000 spins revolving heaven can spin 100,000 times. Ye Huo still remembers Hyuga Neji's battle with Kidamaru. Kidamaru found the flaw in revolving heaven, that's too few spins. As long as it stops, it will be a huge flaw. If it can be rotated 100,000 times, then this absolute defense is really an absolute defense. But if the opponent's strength far exceeds his, however, revolving heaven can be defeated with its overwhelming power. Ye Huo lowered his gaze, looking at the 8 trigrams superpower revolving heaven. Superpower revolving heaven can only be used once. But the power is 100,000 times that of ordinary revolving heaven. It can be said that if you learn this 8 trigrams superpower revolving heaven, then even Jonin or even elite Jonin will not be able to break his defense. 8 trigrams 100,000 turns revolving heaven and 8 trigrams superpower revolving heaven are both rare ninjutsu. It's really hard to choose. Ye Huo began to think differently. 12. If you are the enemy of the Hyuga clan, how should you deal with the Hyuga clan? It must be waiting for the Hyuga clan to release revolving heaven. Seize that vulnerability. To attack. Therefore, if you choose the powerful 8 trigrams revolving heaven, the opponent will most likely retreat, and your revolving heaven will most likely not have much effect. If so, then, I choose 8 trigrams revolving heaven. Ye Huo made a choice in his heart. After making the selection, Ye Huo will chase the retreating large army. The master of the Hyuga clan stopped Ye Huo. The commander-in-chief has ordered you not to go out. Ye Huo looked at the master of the Hyuga clan and said, you have also seen that I have cultivated into revolving heaven. According to the agreement between me and the chief, I can go out. The master of the Hyuga clan said, Ye Huo, your potential is extremely huge. You are the future of the Hyuga clan. In a few years, your strength will definitely reach the level of the president. That's when you will shine. Ye Huo looked at the master of the Hyuga clan and said, if I were you, I would not let a genius live among the flowers in the greenhouse, but take him to the storm to be baptized. No matter how powerful the ninjutsu is, it must be used by people. If a person does not have a firm will, rich combat experience, and decisiveness, no matter how powerful he is, he cannot lead a family to become strong and prosperous. After saying that, Ye Huo strode away, leaving Hyuga's master in a daze. Ye Huo is gone. Hagoromo didn't know when he came to this master of the Hyuga clan. He put his hands behind his back and looked at Ye Huo's retreating back with a complicated expression. Commander. Master Hyuga finally came to his senses, I'll go and chase him back. No need. Hagoromo sighed, this little bastard, I don't know where he learned so many great principles. He is right, our Hyuga clan is too protective of our clan members. A mere 500 Senju attacked, yet they panic like this. It's time for the people of Hyuga to see blood. Hayata, you go too and drive all those spineless guys over to me. If you want to fight, then you must win. Yes, Hyuga Hayata's eyes flashed with excitement. He is also a genius of the Hyuga clan. Geniuses are all militants. Ye Huo quickly rushed towards the large army, passed through Hyuga's large army and came to the front. Nobunaga, who is over 35 years old, serves as the captain, with Hyuga and Hyuga as his deputies. The entire team totaled 800 people. Most of them were ninjas from the 3 clans. Others were brought together symbolically by various branch sects. They are all elderly or disabled. Everyone knows it. Nobunaga looked excited and held Hayata's hand tightly. In this battle, I will definitely win a complete victory. He grabbed Ye Huo and said sternly, go back to me now. Ye Huo suddenly appeared, which immediately shocked Nobunaga, Muzai, and Huahong. A camp was set up by the river, like a long snake. A shrill siren sounded throughout the camp. In a blink of an eye, we arrived at the bank of the river 10 miles away. Ye Huo walked at the front of the team and said calmly, "Yes, otherwise how could Yuya let me come out?" A Senju scout discovered the large force of the Hyuga clan. Hyuga was overjoyed. "Hayata, you guys. This letter has been gone forever and there will be no return." Especially Muzai, the veins on his face stretched out, and he shouted angrily, "You little bastard, who asked you to come?" Hayata laughed loudly and said, "The commander-in-chief asked me to tell you that this battle must be won with a great victory." Ye Huo shook off Muzai's hand and moved on. Nobunaga 803's eyes were full of shock, and Muzai was surprised, happy, angry, and worried. Nobunaga was shocked. "You learned the Hyuga clan's revolving heaven in one night?" The three of them looked back and saw the master of the clan, Hyuga Hayata, leading a force of 1,000 Hyuga elites rushing forward. Kazai was furious, and then there was a shout from behind, "Nobunaga, Kazai, Hanahome, please go slowly." 1,500 Hyuga ninjas moved on. Chapter 164 Megatron Senju. Hundreds of ninjas were shot out of the Senju clan's camp in an instant. In just a few seconds, the formation was already arranged. 200 people are directly in front. He took out long knives, swords and other weapons in his hands. Another 200 people protected the sides. Prevent a sneak attack from the Hyuga clan. Another 100 people stood in the center. Their hands are empty, but they are ready to form seals at any time. 500 Senju tribesmen, chewing food in their mouths. Apparently dining. But even so, their movements were so fast and uniform, and their formation was extremely poor. A pair of eyes as sharp as steel cones, staring at Hyuga's clan members. There was no sound in the entire military formation. Even the sound of chewing was suppressed to a minimum. An invisible evil spirit and pressure enveloped the rivers and plains. Hyuga Nobunaga felt awe-inspiring. The Senju clan is already powerful. Years of fighting have developed unparalleled and powerful fighting qualities. Hyuga Nobunaga looked back behind him. Only he, Muzai, and Huahong's clan members formed a formation, but they couldn't compare with Senju at all. The rest of the people were scattered and had no formation at all. Moreover, there was still some noise from the crowd of more than 1,800 people. Military discipline was gone. Combat prowess is simply not comparable to Senju's. Hyuga Nobunaga's heart fell to the bottom for a moment. Although there are 1,800 people on our side, the other side only has 500 people. But just a little touch, this side will completely collapse. Absolutely nothing survived. Originally, he thought that the other party who was only afraid of 500 people coming had some conspiracy. Now it seems that they are absolutely confident in their own strength. Such a team of ninjas is enough to pierce through the entire Hyuga clan. Which one of you is the leader? At this time, two people walked out of the Senju clan. An adult and a young man. The master is dressed in military uniform, with his arms folded across his chest, wearing the forehead protector of the Senju clan, a long sword hanging on his waist, and his eyes as sharp as an eagle. It was him who spoke just now, and he is the disciple of the Senju clan leader, Senju Morima, the top strongman of the Senju clan after the clan leader Senju Batsuma. The boy next to him didn't look very young, he looked about 10 years old. He has silver hair, a unique forehead protector, and a short sword on his waist. He has a calm temperament and a pair of very sharp eyes. At first glance, you can tell that he is someone who has been on the battlefield and has been stained with blood. It is none other than the outstanding young man of the younger generation of the Senju clan, Senju Tobirama. The later famous second Hokage. Even children have such strong evil spirits? Hyuga Nobunaga took a step forward and said loudly, "I am the highest officer here. You Senju attacked me for no reason. The Hyuga clan, if I don't give an explanation, you can't even think of leaving safely." Senju glanced at the messy formation of the Hyuga clan, raised the corners of his mouth, and said with disdain in his eyes, "Hyuga Nobunaga, right? I've heard of you, you are somewhat capable. If you, the Hyuga clan, are willing to surrender obediently, I can guarantee that your people will not be massacred. This is the greatest tolerance of our Senju clan." There was a commotion within the Hyuga clan. There was a sound of surrender. Surrender. Senju is too powerful. Look at them, then look at us. We are no match at all. Yes, surrender, otherwise we will all die. Hyuga Nobunaga's face turned pale. Shut up, everyone. Nobunaga, you heard it. Didn't they say that as long as we surrender, we can ensure that our people will not be slaughtered, so why do we still fight? And like a demon coming out of hell, but he has never seen such a cruel child Mao. Ye Huo just turned his head slowly, stepped on the head of the Hyuga clan with his left foot, held the sword on his shoulder with his right hand, and shot straight into the Senju force like a steel cone, and the powerful momentum was suddenly released. Money is good. With unparalleled determination he said in a tone of voice, "There are only Hyugas who die in battle, but there are no Hyugas who surrender." He is stronger than Ye Huo. In an instant, the situation was controlled, and there was no voice of surrender among the clan, which intimidated the strong men of the Senju clan. Nobunaga came out from his waist. The ninjas of the Senju clan were shocked by Ye Huo's fierce scene. At this time, Ye Huofeng said, "If anyone dares to surrender again, this will be the fate of this person." Hyuga looked at Ye Huo in shock, but if it were him, he would never be like Ye Mie. The sound has been blessed by chakra, and it is grand, decisive and firm. As soon as these words came out, there was silence among the Wei Shang clan. Ye Huo held up his head. Ye Huo was covered in blood and his face was ferocious. The invisible evil aura swept across the eyes of every Hyuga clan member. The Hyuga clan members were all frightened by this ferocity, and their voices of surrender weakened. With a flash of sword light, the Hyuga tribesman who wanted to surrender was instantly beheaded. They've seen brutal people. Hyuga Nobunaga was furious. If this was one of his own clansmen, he would have killed him long ago, but this was a clansman of the clan. That look, that aura, didn't look like a child at all. However, at this moment, a figure flashed past. Chapter 165 Ye Huo's God of Ninjutsu Development Senju Tobarama. Boy, who are you? Senju narrowed his eyes and stared at Ye Huo closely. It is because of the appearance of Ye Huo. The Hyuga clan's fear faded. This is very detrimental to his attack. He must find a way to defeat the Hyuga clan. Only then can he defeat Hyuga in one go. Hyuga branch clan, son of Senju Muzai, Hyuga Ye Huo. Ye Huo revealed his identity and name without reservation. Oh, it turns out you are Hyuga Ye Huo, who was born with a vision. You are indeed extraordinary. Senju Morima smiled solemnly. Hyuga is indeed a talented person. But it's still far from being comparable to my Senju clan. Boy, do you dare to compete with a boy from my Senju clan? Senju saw it. This Ye Huo is now the soul of the Hyuga clan. Just let your descendants frustrate Ye Huo, then the confidence of the Hyuga clan will be completely destroyed. Under Senju's powerful offensive, they will no longer have any resistance. Okay. Ye Huo agreed decisively. Pulling out 987's knife on the ground, Ye Huo took 2 steps forward. When he reached the river, he looked at Senju Morima and said, "Which one of you is coming up?" Senju narrowed his eyes and stared at Ye Huo. This Ye Huo must be eradicated. Otherwise, there will be endless troubles. Morigama looked at the white-haired boy beside him and said, "Tobarama, you go." Tobarama walked to the river. Hyuga Ye Huo and Senju Tobarama face each other across a 50-meter wide river. A smile appeared on Morima's lips. Tobarama is experienced in combat. And it's bigger than Ye Huo. It also occupies a favorable location. Tobarama will win this battle. Hyuga Nobunaga immediately said, "Ye Huo is back. That Senju Tobarama is a ninjutsu genius in the ninja world. He has developed many ninjutsu at a young age, has experienced many battles, has extremely rich combat experience, and has killed many adults. He is a master ninja and has a reputation in the ninja world, and he is already 10 years old, much older than you. Please come back soon." Ye Huo touched the long sword, and his voice drowned out the roar of the river. What Senju, in my opinion, they're just chickens and dogs, and what kind of geniuses in the ninja world are just useless in my opinion. In front of me, Hyuga Ye Huo, there will never be a genius, only a fool. My Hyuga clan is the strongest clan in the ninja world. My Hyuga's Byakugan is the strongest blood successor in the world. Ye Huo raised his sword, pointed at Senju Tobarama and said, "Today, I am going to defeat this Senju genius in the ninja world, and let the world know that I, Hyuga, am the largest clan in the ninja world." The ninja of the Hyuga clan Sochi knows the magic of Ye Huo. Ye Huo has created too many miracles. At this time, everyone was excited to hear Ye Huo's heroic words. They believe in the evil spirit of Ye Huo. I believe that Ye Huo can definitely defeat the genius of the Senju clan. Ye Huo, defeat that Bai Mao on the other side. Ye Huo is right, Hyuga is the strongest. Let the white hair of that Senju be imbued with the power of our Hyuga's 64 palms. The morale of the Hyuga clan went from low to high. Senju's face became increasingly gloomy. His lips opened slightly, and a voice suddenly sounded from the side, "Kill him." Senju Tobarama narrowed his eyes slightly. The little guy named Ye Huo in front of me is immortal. The Hyuga clan is difficult to pacify. Senju Tobarama formed a seal with his hands, and blue chakra appeared under his feet. Then he rushed behind his back to draw the short sword. At that moment, he suddenly exerted force and stepped on the river with his feet and rushed towards Ye Huo. Almost at the same time, a blue chakra also appeared under Ye Huo's feet. Holding a long sword in his hand, he stepped on the lake water and collided with Senju Tobarama in an instant. When a crisp sound suddenly came. The next moment, Ye Huo raised his body high and whipped Senju Tobarama's left temple with a leg whip. Senju Tobarama lowered his head and instantly jumped behind Ye Huo. His hands reached for the ninja tool bag behind his buttocks, and he threw shurikens one after another in an instant. Hu ho ho! At the same time, Ye Huo's right hand began to condense a huge chakra. Physical magic hidden weapons have no effect. Senju Tobarama's chest was instantly punched with a big hole. Senju Tobarama quickly formed seals with his hands, his body chakra was surging, his upper limbs were slightly leaning forward, his lips were pursed, and water bombs were spit out from his mouth in an instant. Senju Tobarama's expression froze. Veins popped out of the corners of his eyes. Pointing his hands together like swords, he shot out the wind blade chakra knife. Ye Huo's left hand danced quickly, forming afterimages that shattered Senju Tobarama's water bombs one after another. 8 trigrams God's Sky Palm. Ye Huo retreated suddenly and shouted, "Roll your eyes." At that moment, a blue chakra light beam suddenly hit Senju Tobirama in the distance. The shuriken shot towards Ye Huo with a whistling sound. The body suddenly exploded. At that moment, Ye Huo struck out with a fierce palm. In a blink of an eye, it condensed into a round ball. Chakra begins to condense rapidly. Ye Huo blocked and the knife broke instantly. Ye Huo turned around in midair and dodged 2 shurikens. The sword in his palm quickly moved all the shurikens. Chapter 166. Defeating the God of Ninjutsu, Senju Tobirama. Tobirama's body exploded. It turned into countless water splashes. Water body. Ye Huo narrowed his eyes slightly. Sure enough, Tobirama is not so easy to kill. At some point, Senju Tobirama had already run behind Ye Huo and completed the seal. Water style. Senju Tobirama opened his mouth and sucked in, and his chest was filled with a large amount of water and high-density chakra. Chakra uses water as the media and condenses the water into sharp water needles. It suddenly shot towards Ye Huo at lightning speed. Ye Huo turned around and still blasted out with a palm. The powerful palm force directly crushed the water needle, causing Senju Tobirama to hit the doctor. Senju Tobirama's hand mudras changed. Water-style water dragon bomb. In a short period of time, Senju Tobirama completed this powerful ninjutsu. A large amount of water on the surface condensed into a water dragon. He collided hard with Ye Huo's 8 trigrams God's empty palm. But here's the surprise. The water dragon bomb only slightly hindered the palm's power before being blasted through. The water dragon bomb was still blasting towards Senju Tobirama. Senju Tobirama's hands formed the seal again. The 8 trigrams God's sky palm hit Tobirama's body again. Tobirama's body was blasted through again. It turned into a piece of wood. Body replacement technique. Ye Huo frowned slightly. Senju Tobirama is really slippery and difficult to deal with. The water became calm for a while. Ye Huo's white eyes looked 360 degrees. The faces of the Senju clan also became a little nervous. With Tobirama's strength, he still couldn't take down the Hyuga brat named Ye Huo. It was actually suppressed. The people of the Hyuga clan seemed a little excited. At the same time, he became even more nervous. Every heart was in suspense. Looking nervously at the water. Gulu gulu. Suddenly bubbles appeared on the surface of the water. At that moment, 6 Tobirama jumped out of the water. Holding the kunai, he rushed towards Ye Huo desperately. At that moment, Ye Huo took a stance. Byakugan stared at the 6 Senju Tobirama. The 6 Senju Tobirama all have the fire of chakra in their bodies, and it is impossible to distinguish between the original body and the clone. What a nasty ninjutsu. 8 trigrams revolving heaven. In an instant, Ye Huo's body spun rapidly. Blue chakra burst out from his body, spinning rapidly, forming a circular chakra shield. 6 Tobiramas were knocked away at the same time. They turned into water one after another. Or water body. Ye Huo spun around and listened with his body. At the same time, the blue chakra shield is slowly disappearing. This is the fatal flaw of the ordinary Hyuga clan. Almost at this moment, Senju Tobirama appears. His feet were on the water. Complete the mudra with both hands. Powerful chakra condenses in the chest. Water-style water-severing wave. Quote. Opening his mouth and spitting out, a powerful high-pressure water blade instantly shot towards Ye Huo. At that moment, the blue chakra that was supposed to disappear resumed spinning again. Boom. The blue chuck knocked away the water blade. But the subsequent water jets continued to impact. Water blade impact, revolving heaven rotating defense. The two instantly came to a stalemate. I found you. This time you are definitely your true self. Ye Huo used revolving heaven's weakness as bait. Finally seduced the cunning Tobirama to reveal his true identity. Ask for flowers. The power of the wind attribute is not concentrated in the right palm. A gyro-shaped energy group that condenses the wind attribute chakra is formed. The terrifying wind blade cut the air and made a sharp whistling sound. With Ye Huo as the center, strong wind swept from all directions. An unparalleled and powerful force gathered together. Ye Huo shouted sharply, Senju Tobirama, try my super powerful 8 trigrams divine sky wind divine palm. Ye Huo used this terrifying palm for the first time in front of others. The palm force instantly penetrated 8 trigrams revolving heaven. Directly destroyed Senju Tobirama's ninjutsu water-style water-severing wave. Point 0. Ye Huo's palm was too fast. It was too late for Senju Tobirama to hide. At that moment, Senju moved. He appeared in front of Senju Tobirama almost instantly. He took out the sword from his waist with his right hand. Wind energy is injected into it. A wind blade condensed on the sword's edge. At that moment, it was chopped into the palm of Ye Huo's powerful 8 trigrams deep space wind god. Boom. Click. A crisp sound came. The knife in Senju Morima's hand was broken. Senju Morima tilted his head and dodged the blow. But the Senju in the back is miserable. One unlucky ninja was shot straight through the chest. Tragic death on the spot. This powerful 8 trigrams air palm is a fusion of 8 trigrams air palm and Rasengan, which increases the power of the wind attribute and increases it 10,000 times. Ye Huo, although the quality of chakra is not strong, it is abundant, and the power of this ninjutsu is also very powerful. Senju looked at the broken sword in his palm. He turned his attention to Ye Huo again. This brat from the Hyuga clan. 10,000 people must die. Chapter 167, the number one genius in the ninja world. You don't follow the rules. How can adults get involved in a fight between children? The Senju clan are so shameless. Hyuga was so angry that Senju seemed to be unaware of it and just stared at Ye Huo. Ye Huo said with a sarcastic smile, the genius of the Senju clan is nothing more than that. Senju Tobarama looked at Ye Huo, finally spoke, and said coldly, boy, don't be too arrogant. If it were my elder brother who came today, he could crush you to death with just one finger. Your elder brother. If he comes, I can stab him to death with one finger. Ye Huo shouted shamelessly. The god of ninja, Senju Hashirama, isn't here anyway. He could say, 410, however he wanted. Senju Tobarama was so angry that his face was livid. But no longer continue this useless quarrel. At this time, Senju Nobunaga was furious when he saw the Hyuga clan. Morale is available. At that moment, he drew out the sword of a ninja and said loudly, the Senju clan is nothing more than this. They dare to invade the land of my Hyuga clan. Compatriots, come to me and kill all these Senju bandits. After the words fell, Hyuga Nobunaga took the lead and rushed forward. Now that the morale of the Hyuga clan has greatly increased, and with the large number of people, a large group of people rushed over in a huff. Listen to my command and prepare to cast 8 trigrams air palm. 3, 2, 1. 1800 members of the Hyuga clan waved their palms at the same time. 8 trigrams air palm. Wave after wave of palm power was continuously blasted out, chaotically hitting Senju's formation on the opposite side. Senju Morima quickly retreated into the formation, quickly formed seals, and shouted loudly, water style, water wall formation. In an instant, all the Senju water style ninjas completed the seals. At that moment, a huge water curtain formed at the front of the formation, like a waterfall, blocking all attacks. Followed by countless kunai projections. They were shot away by the ninjas of the Hyuga clan. But the one above sparked. No, the kunai has a detonating charm on it. A loud shout just sounded. Countless detonating symbols exploded instantly. Boom boom boom. Explosions came one after another. The formation of the Hyuga clan was instantly defeated. There is a wall of water blocking the way ahead, making it impossible to move forward. There was a kunai in the air, and a shuriken was thrown at it, and there was no time to deal with it. The scene was chaotic. At this time, Senju's 200-man flankers quickly surrounded him from both sides. The Hyuga clan's factional change is completely over. Wails and cries kept ringing out. The ninjas of the Hyuga clan were in chaos. This is the disadvantage of the ethnic groups being scattered and not cohesively united. Ye Huo knows this is going on. Hyuga will definitely lose. He took a deep breath. Past the chaotic crowd of Hyuga. We walked right in front of the water curtain over there. Stand firm on both feet. The right palm is gathered around the waist. The chakra in the palm quickly condenses, and at the same time the energy of the wind attribute chakra is injected. At that moment, Ye Huo once again displayed the powerful 8 trigrams divine sky wind god palm. Boom. Just heard a muffled sound. A hole was shot through the water wall formation immediately. There were members of the Senju clan inside who screamed. Immediately afterwards, Ye Huo struck out with another palm. There were violent shakings. Boom boom boom. Ye Huo waved one after another, and a gap was opened in the water wall array by Ye Huo. Ye Huo shouted loudly, rush over. The great master of the Hyuga clan, Hyuga Hayata roared, leapt into the gap and became a minister. In an instant, kunai and ninjutsu shot towards Hyuga Hayata. Hyuga Hayata is a young man, passionate and warlike, with extremely rich combat experience. He took his time and put on a posture when those attacks were about to hit his body. His body spun violently. Powerful blue chakra emanates from its body. Condensed into a huge blue revolving heaven with a diameter of hundreds of meters. Dozens of Senju clan members were directly knocked away. The strong elastic force tore the hole completely open in an instant. Ye Huo felt shocked in his heart. Revolving heaven can be used to such an extent. Hyuga is indeed a wealthy family. Hayata is indeed the master of the Hyuga clan. Come on. Hyuga Nobunaga shouted loudly, rushed over again. The mouth was torn open. The members of the Hyuga clan immediately rushed over. A close fight began with the Senju clan. Since then, the Hyuga clan's taijutsu power has been brought into full play. Although Senju's physical skills are powerful, they are not as good as those of the Hyuga clan. Furthermore, the Hyuga clan has a large number of people. Soon 4.7 gained an overwhelming advantage. Senju roared angrily. One punch knocked out Hyuga Hayata. Jumped to the water. Cage-level chakra erupted from the body. A huge amount of chakra poured into the big river. A water dragon that is tens of meters thick and hundreds of meters long is rapidly condensing. But at that moment, a tall figure suddenly appeared in front of Senju. The man put up a posture, and the round energy chakra in his right palm condensed. Senju's pupils shrank, Hyuga Hagoromo, it's you, you're hiding among ordinary ninjas. Chapter 168 Complete Defeat of the Senju Clan. Hagoromo said nothing at all. The chakra energy mass in the palm is the combination of 8 trigrams air palm and Rasengan. 8 trigrams God's sky palm. Yuya blasted out with a palm. The surging blue chakra shot out a huge beam of light several meters in diameter. It hit Senju Morima's chest in an instant. Senju Morima's breast shield instantly shattered. The armor on his body was torn apart and shot out in all directions. The terrifying energy hit his chest hard. Click click click. The bones were shattered and the chest was sunken. Senju Morima screamed, his body flew high, and then the kite fell to the ground with its string broken. Senju Tobarama quickly ran over, helped Senju Morima up, and left under the protection of several powerful elite Jonin-level Senju 12 ninjas. Hagoromo showed great strength. In a few breaths, he used the terrifying 8 trigrams divine air palm to severely injure the quasi-cage level master among Senju ninjas. With the addition of Yuya, the war has become one-sided. After a while, 200 of the 500 Senju clan ninjas were killed and 300 were captured. As for the Hyuga clan, except for a few who were unlucky enough to be killed by the explosion, there were more than a dozen seriously injured and dozens more slightly injured. Hyuga had almost no damage. In this battle, the Hyuga clan achieved a complete victory. All the strategic materials left behind by the Senju clan were brought back by the Hyuga clan. Senju's supplies are extremely rich, and it is much more sophisticated than the Hyuga clan. The kunai of the Senju clan clashed with the kunai of the Hyuga clan, and the kunai of the Hyuga clan was severed. This is especially true for swords. There are also a large number of detonating charms, strong bows and crossbows. These opponents haven't had time to use them yet. These are all cheaper than the Hyuga family. Hyuga transported all these strategic materials back. The faces of every Hyuga clan member are beaming with joy, and there is no trace of the previous gloom and gloom. The largest clan in the ninja world is nothing more than that. When we rushed them, they collapsed instantly. Tisk, I've just hit half of my 64 palms, and that guy Senju is dead. It's really disappointing. Also, as soon as I used my 8 trigrams air palm, the opponent was blown away. It was not pleasant at all. Haha, Ye Huo is right, the Senju clan is the largest clan in the ninja world. Our Hyuga clan is the largest clan in the ninja world. Yes, our Hyuga clan is the largest clan in the ninja world. Hagoromo's face was full of smiles. He was quite satisfied with his 8 trigrams divine air palm just now. Although it was a sneak attack, with just one blow, the powerful Senju Morima was completely destroyed. If you don't cultivate for more than half a year, you may not be able to recover. Ye Huo, that little brat, has made a great contribution this time. Yuya was very happy today. He looked at Ye Huo next to him and said, little guy, what reward do you want? I am very happy today. As long as your request is reasonable, I will agree to it. Really agree to everything. Ye Huo glanced sideways at Yuya. Well, haha, you tell me first. Yuya left himself some room. Ye Huo felt contempt and said slowly, it was a fluke that we won today. Quote. Although Senju only has 500 people, they are well trained. If it hadn't been for my appearance, and if it hadn't been for the commander's shameless sneak attack on Senju Morima, we would probably still have lost. Hyuga needs a team with strict military discipline. If there is still such chaos, I can say that Hyuga's future will definitely not end well. So, I will select 500 people from the Hyuga clan to form a new team and train them to become real ninjas. Hyuga Yuya looked at Ye Huo with suspicion. Let you train? Hagoromo questioned. He acknowledged Ye Huo's talent in ninjutsu. But in other respects, what can a child understand? But Yuya agreed by mistake. Okay, I will give you this power. Not only the Hyuga clan, but also the vassal families of Hyuga, you can choose at will. I will do my homework for the vassal families. I will see what tricks you can do. A vassal family. Ye Huo was stunned. Hagoromo laughed loudly, showing the courage of the leader of a large clan in the ninja world. That's right, my Hyuga family is also a big family in the ninja world, and it is normal to have several vassal families. Put other things aside for now. You must have a good drink with me today, ha 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 ha. It is night, and the lights of the Hyuga clan are brightly lit. There was laughter and laughter everywhere in Dajai. The Hyuga clan is not afraid of sneak attacks in the dark. For the Hyuga clan, night is no different from day. But other ninjas can't. Ye Huo was hugged by Hayata and drank several large glasses of wine. Nobunaga waited and kept urging him to drink. Ye Huo is already a little dizzy. I felt much better after using chakra to force the alcohol out of my body. Nobunaga slapped him on the back of the head. You brat, you used gentle fist to force the drink out. Isn't this a waste? Ye Huo was speechless for a while. Ye Huo really has no interest in the wine shop. I had to say I felt uncomfortable and leave. He is going to study integrating the power of wind style into revolving heaven. Chapter 169. 100,000 times reward, 8 trigrams. 100,000 wind side revolving heaven. Revolving heaven can deflect most attacks. But if the power of the wind blade is injected into it, What's spinning is not the chakra but the wind blade. The enemy attacked rashly. Get caught up in revolving heaven. It's like being cut by countless sharp blades. How terrifying that power must be. Ye Huo felt excited when he thought of this. Without further hesitation, Ye Huo came to the back mountain and began to try to integrate the wind attribute into revolving heaven. Ye Huo took a stance and immediately released a large amount of chakra from the 360 acupoints. Chakra erupts, swirling around Ye Huo. The blue light is so dazzling in the night. Hyuga Hayata secretly protects Ye Huo. Seeing Ye Huo still practicing late at night, he couldn't help but sigh. They say Ye Huo has outstanding talent, but who knew he worked so hard? On the day of great victory, others are drinking happily, but he is practicing hard. No, I can't be left behind. Hyuga Hayata also began to practice 8 trigrams divine sky palm. He envied that kind of power. Revolving heaven keeps spinning. This creates excellent conditions for Ye Huo to infuse the wind attribute chakra. He can calmly inject the wind attribute chakra and slowly fuse the two. But no matter how gentle Ye Huo's speed is, a slight fusion of the two forces creates a powerful repulsive force. Revolving heaven instantly collapsed and scattered countless chakras. Ye Huo was not discouraged and continued to practice. 5 days passed in the blink of an eye. Within 5 days, Ye Huo practiced right after eating. This scene shocked Hayata again. Therefore, Hayata also kept up with Ye Huo's cultivation progress. Many Hyuga tribe members also joined in such hard training. Every kid is working hard. Working hard to protect Hyuga. What entitlement do they have for a break? Humph. Ha backquote ideographic period. 8 trigrams air palm. 8 trigrams 64 palms. Shouts came from the top of the mountain. The captured Senju clan below were dumbfounded as they watched Hyuga's training. This kind of training is heavier than that of the Senju clan. It was that bastard who said Hyuga's training was ordinary. There are no masters at all. Damn it, did that bastard come to investigate properly? Afternoon. The breeze blows. Ye Huo's hair was raised slightly. He was highly concentrated and assumed the posture of revolving heaven. Blue chakra emanates from the acupuncture points. Ye Huo did not rush to spin, but first incorporated the wind attribute into it. It will be much easier to cast revolving heaven this way. As soon as the two energies came into contact, they suddenly became restless again, but they soon merged and gradually stabilized. Ye Huo took a deep breath, and the next step was the most critical step. Ye Huo's body slowly rotated, and the chakra that integrated wind attributes also began to rotate slowly. There was another violent fluctuation. Ye Huo hurriedly mobilized all his energy and tried his best to control chakra, and he barely managed to control it. In this way, Ye Huo slowly turned his punch, and the chakra that incorporated the wind attribute also rotated in a circle. I've barely finished revolving heaven. Doing this is enough for Ye Huo. Ding. Congratulations to host, you have developed a new ninjutsu, wind style 8 trigrams wind side revolving heaven. 100,000 times reward is triggered. 1. Chaowei wind style 8 trigrams wind side revolving heaven. 2. Wind style 8 trigrams revolving heaven. Ye Huo still wants to retain the speed. So Ye Huo gave up the first reward. I choose 2. Wind style 8 trigrams revolving heaven. The selection is complete. At that moment, Ye Huo's control over Feng Si revolving heaven was greatly enhanced. Can be controlled perfectly. Ye Huo stopped revolving heaven and said to Hayata, who was still making balls in the distance, Hayata, throw a kunai at me. Ah, when Hayata was distracted, the meatball in his hand exploded. Send Hayata Bengfei away all the way. Let out a scream. The corner of Ye Huo's mouth twitched. Not long after, Hayata walked up to Ye Huo in embarrassment. Blue nose and swollen face. Sir Ye Huo, what do you want me to do? Hayata's words were a little unclear. Ye Huo formed a new team, and the first one he chose was Hayata. So Hayata changed his name. Shoot a kunai at me. Ye Huo assumed the revolving heaven stance. Hayata immediately understood that Master Ye Huo's new revolving heaven must have been successfully developed. Hayata nodded and took out 4 kunai and 4 shurikens from his ninja bag. Hayata crossed his hands on his chest and prepared to exert force. Sir Ye Huo, are you ready to make a fortune? Let's do it. Ye Huo's voice fell, and the 4 kunai and 4 shurikens in Hayata's hand shot at Ye Huo at the same time. Super powerful wind style 8 trigrams wind sickle revolving heaven. Ye Huo started spinning instantly. A sharp and shrill howling sound suddenly sounded. The 4 kunai and shurikens were immediately sent flying out of the island. Ye Huo ended revolving heaven and picked up all 4 kunai shurikens. Some of the corners of the 4 shurikens were cut off by the wind blade. The tips of the 4 kunai were also completely cut off. Hayata's expression changed when he saw it. This is revolving heaven with wind style added. It's really scary. However, Ye Huo's brows furrowed. He was not satisfied with the result. Revolving heaven still needs to continue to improve. Chapter 170. 100,000 times reward, medical ninjutsu. Super power, healing jutsu. His revolving heaven is rotating clockwise. The wind is as sharp as a knife. Can cut holes into objects or people. But it's not fatal. If you add a layer of counterclockwise rotation force, the wind blade can mince the things it comes into contact with like a crusher, so its power can be increased to another level. It's like a Rasengan shuriken. Can deal devastating blows to objects. This is what Ye Huo wants. But Ye Huo knows very well. The training in Revolving Heaven is already very difficult. Many Hyuga ninjas never complete it in their lifetime. The addition of the power of wind style raises the difficulty level to another level. Now also add a rotation in a different direction. This is almost impossible to accomplish. No, this is impossible. But Ye Huo's talent is strong. And has a reward of 100,000 times. He believes it. He will definitely be able to complete the development of these 347 ninjutsu. Ye Huo took a deep breath. Putting on a posture. 8 trigrams Revolving Heaven. A white wind blade emerged from the blue chakra. Revolving Heaven forms a spherical wind sickle 5 meters in diameter revolving around Ye Huo. 100,000 transfers can last a long time. Ye Huo can calmly rotate another chakra that is integrated into the wind blade. However, it's like two forces colliding head-on. How is it possible for them to merge with each other? At that moment, the two forces collided instantly, making a huge explosion. There was a loud bang. The power of Revolving Heaven exploded instantly. Ye Huo's body was directly ejected. There were traces of wind blade cuts all over his body. The corner of Ye Huo's mouth twitched slightly. It's really dangerous to use ninjutsu. But Ye Huo has no plans to give up BCCD. I have regained my footing and want to continue developing. Hayata was horrified when he saw it. He hurriedly stepped forward and grabbed Ye Huo's arm and said, Master Ye Huo, you can't take risks like this anymore. Let go. Ye Huo looked at Hayata and said lightly. Hayata was caught by Ye Huo's firm gaze. I could only let go of my palms. Ye Huo continued to practice. He was injured by the wind blade again. Ye Huo got up again and continued training. Ye Huo seemed to be unaware of pain. Tireless. Hayata was horrified when he saw it, and infinite admiration arose in his heart. A strong person is not a strong person only if he has great strength. A truly strong person must have a strong heart. Hayata can be sure. One day, Lord Ye Huo will become the strongest man standing proudly in the ninja world. Hayata also began to practice hard. The day passed quickly. Ye Huo has made little progress. Instead, there were injuries everywhere. Ye Huo practices chakra refining. The process allowed him to recover from some of his injuries. But this is not enough. Ye Huo remembered Tsunade's medical ninjutsu. With his current chakra quality, he can learn basic magic. Activating all the cells in the wound can quickly heal the wound. This jutsu requires precise control of the chakra. This is nothing to Ye Huo. Ye Huo recalled Tsunade's seal gesture in his mind. And how chakra works. After a moment, he opened his eyes. The hands began to form seals. Then the chakra condenses in the right hand. The chakra began to transform slowly. The blue chakra turns a little cyan. Ye Huo incorporated this bit of cyan into the wound. His cells suddenly became active. The wound begins to heal. But this blue light is smaller than a grain of millet. Far from enough. Ye Huo kept practicing. Finally. Early the next morning, all the blue chakra in Ye Huo's right palm turned cyan. Ye Huo attached the cyan light group to the wound. The wound began to heal quickly. At the same time, the system sound sounded. Ding. Congratulations to host for learning the healing jutsu. 100,000 times reward trigger. 1. Healing jutsu is a very wide range of medical ninjutsu. 2. The powerful healing jutsu. Looking at the two rewards, Ye Huo fell into thinking. Super wide healing jutsu means wide range. But he only needs to increase the output of chakra. The scope can also be expanded. With a reward of 100,000 times. His chakra is nearly unlimited. So the super wide healing jutsu seems a bit useless. Ye Huo looked at Xiaowei healing jutsu. The healing effect is 100,000 times that of ordinary healing jutsu. In other words, the wound can be healed in almost 1 second. This can be life-saving at critical times. One can imagine which one of the two is more effective. I choose the super powerful healing jutsu. Ye Huo's voice fell. The chakra in the body surges out like a tide. The cyan light ball in his right palm turned into golden yellow. Ye Huo enveloped the whole body with this golden ball of light. The whole person seemed to be bathed in golden light. Just a blink of an eye. The wounds all over his body healed completely in an instant. Hayata looked at Ye Huo in shock. He couldn't believe the scene before him. Hagoromo, who happened to come over to watch Ye Huo train, was also shocked. Chapter 171. 100,000 times medical ninjutsu. This little brat. What kind of ninjutsu has been developed? You actually healed all your injuries at once. I came too late and didn't see anything. No, I must learn it myself. Yuya clenched his fists. Hagoromo coughed slightly, and the eyes of Ye Huo and Hayata were attracted. I've met the president. Hayata bowed very politely. But Ye Huo turned his head away and wanted to continue practicing. Yuya secretly cursed the boy for being rude. But now I have something to ask for. He must smile. Haha, Ye Huo, what new ninjutsu have you developed? Show it to the commander. Hagoromo chuckled. You weren't hurt, how could I? Stab. Before Ye Huo finished speaking, Yuya cut a gash on his arm. This hole is deep enough to show the bones. Only by experiencing it yourself can you better understand the power of Ye Huo's ninjutsu. Ye Huo was speechless for a while. But he still came over and said, see clearly. Ye Huo sets his ceiling speed to the slowest possible speed. The flow of chakra in the body is also at its slowest. Yuya opened his eyes wide and looked carefully. Hayata also widened his eyes and watched Ye Huo's movements carefully. The chakra swirled in the right palm after rotating in a special trajectory, forming a ball of golden light. Ye Huo brought the light ball close to Yuya's arm wound. In the blink of an eye, the wound quickly stuttered. The next moment, the scar fell off and the arm returned to its original state. Yuya's eyes widened and he pressed the wound. It didn't hurt at all and it was completely healed. Yuya looked at Ye Huo with a surprised look. How did you do this? Can I also cultivate to this point? You can't. Ye Huo shook his head. If it were you, you would have learned this medical ninjutsu, healing jutsu, which can heal wounds within half an hour. Stuttering within half an hour. Enough, 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 ha ha ha. Yuya laughed loudly. Ye Huo, good job, study more new ninjutsu. Yuya left with satisfaction, eager to learn new ninjutsu. Ye Huo looked at Hayata and said, Hayata, you go and select 150 people who are trustworthy and controlled by Grandmaster Chakra, and teach them this healing jutsu. As this ninjutsu called healing jutsu. Okay, I'll do it right away. Master Ye Huo, do you want to take a rest? Do what you should do. Ye Huo dropped the sentence and continued the unfinished practice. The admiration in Hayata's heart was like a surging river, out of control. Let's see, what is genius? He was injured, so he created an extremely powerful medical ninjutsu. Compared with Lord Ye Huo, I really am nothing. The proud Hayata suddenly became humble and respectful. His attitude towards others has also become much gentler. Hayata worked hard for several days, and he finally learned the healing jutsu. At the same time, a suitable 150 people were found. But then, when he taught these people healing jutsu, the temper breaks out again. A string of curse words kept coming out of his mouth. Stupid, so stupid, stupid as hell. Hayata cursed loudly, and everyone fell silent. After 3 days, Ye Huo still made no progress in his new ninjutsu. Controlling revolving heaven and integrating into the wind blade had consumed almost all of his energy. It is almost impossible to complete the counter spin again. Ye Huo thought of using a clone. He knows the shadow clone's handprint. Please give me flowers. But at this time, the quality of chakra in his body was simply not enough. Ye Huo's heart moved. If you practice the power of an immortal, I wonder if it can be done. Thinking of this, Ye Huo immediately started trying it. Ye Huo has past life experience. This time it went very smoothly. Ye Huo sat cross-legged on the top of the mountain. The mood is clear. The breeze was blowing, and he clearly felt the power of nature. A trace of energy poured into the body. Like the spring breeze entering the body. Warm and comfortable, but Ye Huo just wanted to control this power. This force suddenly became overbearing. So Ye Huo turned control into motivation. Super Power Junior Sage Body. The sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Ye Huo took a breath of air. Ye Huo looked carefully and was surprised. Super powerful primary sage body. It can absorb the natural power of heaven and earth at any time to supplement the magic chakra, enhance the body's physical fitness 100 times, and can perform ninjutsu of a level and below. 1. This super powerful primary sage body is much more powerful than the ordinary primary sage body. Don't know what it does. 1. 100,000 units of primary magic chakra. Ye Huo immediately became interested when he saw this. This was his first time seeing it. 2. Chaowei primary sage body. Ye Huo sometimes controls, sometimes pulls and slowly absorbs the natural energy zone. Ding. Congratulations to host, you have obtained 1 unit of primary magic chakra. Close black lens bracket. With the super powerful primary sage body, I can practice multiple shadow clone. I don't know what it will look like after receiving 100,000 times the reward. Strength becomes docile again. Time passed slowly. In 1 day, Ye Huo finally absorbed a unit of natural power. 100,000 times reward is triggered. Chapter 172, Too Many. 100 million shadow clone. I choose junior sage body. Ye Huo made a choice. A golden fairy face appeared in the corner of his eyes. Ye Huo felt that his physical fitness was increasing crazily. Muscles become stronger. Bones become stronger. And a thin golden film appeared on the surface of the body. Ye Huo took out a kunai from the ninja bag. He suddenly took action and stabbed hard into his palm. Ding. A clear voice came. Like gold and iron clashing. The golden film is as hard as steel. The kunai only left a white spot on it. Ye Huo, 130, jumped up and down. The golden film weighs nothing. Move your body a bit. There was no feeling of discomfort at all. Ye Huo is overjoyed. This beginner sage body is really good stuff. The joy doesn't end there. Strange energy poured into Ye Huo's body from all directions. The power of the immortal magic chakra kept gathering in his body. Ding! Congratulations to host for absorbing 1 unit of super powerful primary magic chakra. 100,000 units of chakra, the super powerful primary magic. 2. 1 unit of super powerful intermediate magic chakra. I choose 100,000 units of chakra, the super powerful primary magic. For Ye Huo, what he needs now is more and bigger chakra. But his body couldn't handle so much chakra. So most of the chakra was released. The next moment, Ye Huo showed his handprints again. Chakra flows in the body. Ye Huo shouted, "Shadow clone." The next moment, 1 unit of chakra, the super powerful primary magic, was consumed. A clone identical to Ye Huo emerged. Ding! Congratulations to host for developing Shadow clone. 100,000 times reward trigger. 1. Over 100,000 Shadow clone. 2. Super powerful Shadow clone. Ye Huo took a look at the detailed introduction of the 2 clones. There are over 100,000 Shadow clones among them. He can create 100,000 Shadow clone by consuming 1 unit of chakra, the powerful primary magic. At this time, he has 1,000 units of primary magic chakra in his body. If he chooses this, he can release 100 million Shadow clones in an instant. And each Shadow clone has 30% of his strength. But the same thing. The moment Shadow clone is released, he will endure 100 million times more mental pressure for 1 more moment. At that time, he was probably going to be brain dead. The super powerful Shadow clone is a super powerful magic chakra that costs 1 unit. Can condense into 1 powerful Shadow clone. The super powerful Shadow clone is 100 times more powerful than the main body. 100. Ye Huo was overjoyed. He said directly, "I choose the super powerful Shadow clone." At that moment, Ye Huo made a choice. The next moment, Ye Huo cancelled Shadow clone and reallocated 50 super powerful Shadow clone. 50 super powerful Shadow clone in groups of 2. Start training with wind-style spiral revolving heaven. 2 Shadow clones stand together. Wind-style and chakra kept pouring out of their bodies. The next moment, one of the 2 of them was spinning forward and the other was spinning counter-rotation. The 2 forces intertwined, and this time, it took a second before they collapsed. This time there was finally progress. Ye Huo directly cancelled the clone. Suddenly a wave of fatigue hit me. Ye Huo's mind went dark. He fainted straight away. Wait until he wakes up again. Has returned to his temporary residence in the Zong family. The light inside the room is a little dim. Ye Huo was about to get up when he found someone pressing down on his body. Turning his head slightly, Keiko was lying on his bed sleeping lightly. Ye Huo stood up slightly. But Keiko still woke up. "Son, you're awake." Keiko rubbed her eyes and looked at Ye Huo with bright eyes. Ye Huo was prepared for Keiko's lengthy nagging, such as "Don't work so hard and take a good rest." But Keiko didn't say anything. She just said, "You are hungry. Mom, go get you something to eat." Huizi went and came back, bringing meat porridge to Ye Huo. Ye Huo ate it. The taste is very good. He ate another bowl. A smile appeared on Keiko's face. Ye Huo had eaten and drank enough, got dressed, and put on a forehead protector knife bag. Suddenly, his movements stopped. He saw the tears hidden in Keiko's eyes. As a mother, he didn't want to see his son working so hard. 4.7 But as the wife of the clan leader, as the head of the clan, she must consider the future of her people. Ye Huo now plays an extremely important role for the entire Hyuga family. The ninjutsu he developed can greatly reduce Hyuga's casualties. Therefore, he cannot be selfish enough to prevent his son from practicing. But Ye Huo sighed secretly and put down the knife bag. "Hyuga's Sakura flower mountain is very beautiful, let's go for a walk." Keiko was stunned. "You don't want to practice anymore?" Ye Huo raised the corners of his mouth slightly and smiled at Kizi. "We should combine work and rest. Let's take a day off today." "Oh yeah," Keiko shouted excitedly, picked up Ye Huo and kissed her fiercely. Chapter 173. 8 trigrams integrated with Rasengan Shuriken. Revolving Heaven. This afternoon. This was the happiest afternoon Ye Huo had ever seen Keiko since he was born. Keiko took him to every street of the Hyuga clan. "I hired a painter to draw a portrait." Ye Huo crossed his arms across his chest and became rigid. Keiko made him laugh. Only then did he force out a smile. A big smile appeared on Keiko's face and she gestured with the word, "Yeah." At night, Keiko fell into a deep sleep after a hard day's work. Ye Huo covered Kezi with a quilt. Putting on his forehead protector and putting on his ninja bag, Yi Mie walked towards the door. He looked back and sighed softly. "If it weren't for my existence, maybe you would enjoy the happiness of being a mother." Yi Huo turned his head and strode away. On the bed, Keiko opened her eyes. A smile appeared on the corner of Keiko's mouth, and she said softly, "I am very proud to be your mother." Night. The bright moon hangs high and there is a heavy breeze. Yi Huo strode towards the training ground. Hayata didn't know when 12 appeared and followed him. Now, he is no longer following in secret. Instead, he became Ye Huo's assistant. Hayata is very specific about his current position. Ye Huo-sama will come up with strange ninjutsu at any time. And he can be the first to learn this ninjutsu. This will be his lifelong wealth. Just yesterday, he learned Shadow Clone. This ninjutsu is much more powerful than the avatar. This increased his strength a lot. Ye Huo asked, how are the new recruits doing with their medical ninjutsu training? Ye Huo is preparing to rebuild the four-man team for future generations. And improve it on this basis. The Hyuga clan is responsible for medical treatment and exploration, and then selects offensive and defensive ninjas to cooperate. Finally, a ninja with even overall strength is selected to form a complete four-person squad. Classes of 1 or 4 people are used as units to spread. After putting together a good combination, it's just that this medical ninjutsu requires a grandmaster, and it takes a lot of time to be effective. We have found all 105 people, but they are too stupid and learn too slowly. It will only take a few months to achieve success. Ye Huo nodded, and then restated his request again. Then choose 150 offensive type, 150 ninjas who are good at defense, and 150 balanced or very smart guys. It has exceeded the original 500 people. But Hayata did as he was told. Hagoromo gave full affirmation. This went very smoothly, with the protection of primary sage body. When Ye Huo developed new ninjutsu, he rarely got injured. Practice for another half-month. The new ninjutsu finally paid off. Ye Huo listened. He took a good nap, took a quick bath, rested for a day, and cultivated his spirit to the best state. This morning, Ye Huo came to the back mountain again. Today, he must complete the new technique. Ye Huo makes a seal with both hands. Powerful shadow clone. A shadow clone suddenly appeared, fighting alongside Ye Huo. The next moment, the two Ye Huo simultaneously assumed the posture of revolving heaven. The wind chakra that has undergone nature transformation in the body is constantly flowing out of the body. The chakra of the clone and the main body are merged together. There is no distinction between them at all. The next moment, the clone and the main body rotated at the same time. One is spinning forward and the other is spinning backward. Strong energy suddenly burst out. The friction between the wind blades produced a harsh, high-frequency howling sound. A revolving heaven with a diameter of 10 meters has been formed. However, countless wind blades on the surface of revolving heaven kept striking. Rubbing. The energy inside is constantly consuming itself. The white sphere bulges for a while and sinks in for a while, making the field unstable. But the shape of the sphere is finally completed. After Ye Huo's unremitting efforts, this new revolving heaven has finally taken shape. If you want to go further, you will need a lot of time for continuous training and correction. The current situation is enough for Ye Huo. Ding. Congratulations to host for developing a new ninjutsu. Close black lens bracket. 100,000 times reward is triggered. 1. 8 trigrams wind style shuriken revolving heaven. 2. 8 trigrams super power wind style shuriken revolving heaven. 367 Ye Huo already had a choice in his mind. Then. I choose 8 trigrams wind style shuriken revolving heaven. In that moment, the surface of revolving heaven shrouding Ye Huo's body is no longer bumpy. Instead it becomes very smooth. And inside revolving heaven, the power of the wind blade is spinning rapidly forward and backward. It feels like it is. There are countless passages in revolving heaven. There are almost no gaps between channels. Countless wind blades randomly reversed or rotated in the channel. But it didn't cause any friction. If it is Ye or you want to practice to this level, he may not be able to do it in his life. But the system easily allowed him to do it. Ye Huo looked at a Hyuga tribesman standing aside and said, "Come here." The Hyuga clan member was refreshed and immediately ran to Ye Huo and said, "Master Ye Huo, what are your orders?" Ye Huo ordered, "Shoot kunai and shuriken at me." Chapter 174 The Gap Between Genius and Monster. The Hyuga ninja was stunned for a moment. The next moment he reacted, "Yes." The Hyuga ninja took out the kunai and shuriken from the ninja bag. "Sir Ye Huo, I'm ready." The two Ye Huo took a stance and said at the same time, "Let's take action." The Hyuga ninja fired shurikens and kunai in an instant. In the blink of an eye, he shot in front of Ye Huo. At that moment, the two Ye Huo were spinning at the same time. A shocking scene appeared. The Hyuga ninja has a big mouth. Eyeballs will pop out. The surrounding Hyuga ninjas also opened their eyes wide. Is this still revolving heaven? This is clearly a grinder. Then he saw that the kunai and shuriken were shot towards revolving heaven, but were not deflected. This weird revolving heaven seems to have strong suction power. Shuriken and kunai were shot on it, and were immediately shattered by this weird revolving heaven. The harsh friction sounds continued. In the blink of an eye, the shuriken and kunai had completely disappeared. Ye Huo stopped revolving heaven. Looked towards the ground. Nod with satisfaction. Ye Huo put his hands on his back and went down the mountain humming a tune. The Hyuga tribesmen on the left and right rushed over. There were bursts of exclamations. "It's scary, this is too scary. How did Lord Ye Huo do it? He is truly a monster among geniuses." He has mastered revolving heaven to this point. I'm afraid I have no hope in this life. He's only 5 years old, how can he be so powerful? In this life, if I can achieve what Master Ye Huo achieved when he was 5 years old, I will be satisfied. Ha! Are you dreaming? I will be satisfied if I can achieve half of Master Ye Huo's achievements in this life. Don't tell me half of it. I will be satisfied if I can achieve 1/10 of Master Ye Huo's achievements in this life. The Hyuga tribe is bustling with people. At this time, a Hyuga ninja said, "The chief is here." Hyuga's ninjas immediately separated and made way for them. With his head held high, Hagoromo defeated the Senju clan's second in command with one palm, and his strength had been newly confirmed. The prestige is far greater than before. Hagoromo fully demonstrated his demeanor as the head of the clan. Went to the location where Ye Huo was before. He glanced at the powder on the ground. He crouched down. He grabbed it with his hands. They are all finely divided metal powder. Like flour. Hagoromo was moved. This kind of power is a bit too terrifying. I really don't know why that little guy is becoming more and more evil. Ye Huo watched the entire process of Ye Huo's cultivation. And he can do it by taking apart each of Ye Huo's movements. But put together. But he couldn't do it anymore. Hagoromo sighed. This may be the difference between Wei Kai and evildoer. Hagoromo calls himself a genius, which is certainly not a boast. He has this talent and ability. But there is a gap between him and Ye Huo. That is a gap that cannot be crossed no matter how much effort you spend. That's the difference between a genius and a monster. Old man. There are talented people from generation to generation, and a new generation is better than the old one. Hagoromo let out a long sigh. There is both reluctance and infinite longing for the future in his eyes. He desperately wants to see Ye Huo grow up. Let's see how far Ye Huo can grow. How glorious can the Hyuga family be brought to? At this moment, a Hyuga ninja hurriedly ran over and said, "Chief, something bad is going on." Senju Butsuma, the chief of the Senju clan, led 3,000 Senju ninjas and pressed on the border of our Hyuga clan. "We hand over the captured Senju people and surrender to the Senju, otherwise we, the Hyuga clan, will be razed to the ground." Yuya's face darkened, and he immediately said, calling all the clan leaders of the Hyuga branch, and also attending the meeting that brought Ye Huo, he now has this qualification. More than 30 clan chiefs from the branch clans came to the main hall again and divided into two sides. But at this time, more than 30 clan leaders looked at the leader. Originally there was only one seat at the top. But now there is one more. Hagoromo sat in one of the seats. The other one is free. Everyone's heart moved. What does this mean? Who are you going to promote? For a moment, everyone looked at Hyuga Nobunaga. More than half a month ago, it was Nobunaga who led the Hyuga clan to fight against the Senju clan and achieved a comprehensive victory. Could it be that the president wanted to elevate Hyuga Nobunaga's status in today's meeting? But that's not right. If you want to be promoted, you can do it early. You don't have to wait until now. Moreover, even if he is promoted, he should not be on an equal footing with the chief. Could it be that this is to establish the next clan leader? I heard that Ye Huo from the Zong family is a genius at making decisions. Is the clan leader going to appoint him as the young clan leader? Many clan leaders were thinking wildly. At this moment, someone outside shouted, "Sir Ye Huo." Chapter 175 The Future President. Swish, brush, brush. All eyes looked towards the door. A boy strode in. Hyuga Hayata, the great master of the Hyuga clan, followed closely behind him. He looked like the first bodyguard. He looked majestic and high-spirited, as if he were the captain of Emperor Laozi's bodyguard. Today's Ye Huo is completely different from before. Not only did he become famous among the Hyuga clan, it also has a strong team. This team is the best ninjas that bastard Hyuga Hayata drew from various clans and affiliated clans. All the good young people in the clan were poached by this bastard. And those who were poached followed Ye Huo as soon as they heard. Everyone was so excited that they wanted to follow them immediately. The patriarch of the branch clan turned red and his neck was thick with anger. "Are you looking for me?" Ye Huo walked up to Yu Yi. Yuya pointed to the chair next to him and said calmly, "Sit down, you can also listen to today's meeting." Ye Huo glanced at the location. Next to Hagoromo, in the first place. Ye Huo raised his eyebrows and glanced at the 450 branch clan leaders present. All the clan leaders looked stunned. Some people have big mouths. One person's eyes almost popped out. Some people just froze there. The scene before them was something they never expected. This position was actually reserved for Ye Huo. Could it be that Hagoromo wants this sharing boy to be the head of the Hyuga clan? Ye Huo moved his gaze to Yuya and said lightly, "What do you mean?" Yuya lightly provoked Ye Huo, "What? You don't even dare to take a seat." Ye Huo glanced at Yuya, strengthened his legs, jumped onto the chair, and sat down. However, only half of the head is over the table. The branch clan leaders present could only see half of Ye Huo's head. For a time, more than 30 clan leaders wanted to laugh but did not dare to laugh. He looked like he couldn't hold it any longer. Even the corners of Hagoromo's lips twitched into a smile. However, Hayata snorted softly. He moved behind the chair. He bent down, grabbed the legs of the stool with both hands, and raised it high. Ye Huo sat on it, folding his hands on his chest, looking down at everyone. The branch clan heads present looked at each other. The Japanese people on the side hurriedly stepped forward and said, I'm going to get some stepping stones. Hayata said, no need, I'm just a stepping stone for others. Hayata admires Ye Huo from the bottom of his heart. He is willing to be Ye Huo's stepping stone, and regard it as an honor. The head of the branch clan was deeply moved. They didn't know how this little doll could possess such magical power and make Hayata so willing to debase himself in order to achieve his success. Hagoromo on the side coughed lightly. Hayata, just be a little lower and be on the same level as everyone else, so it's easier to talk about things. Hayata asked Ye Huo, sir, what do you think? Ye Huo said calmly, just be on an equal footing with everyone else, and just find a few rocks to cushion you. Hayata's heart warmed up and he laughed and said, I just like to lift it, it's just a good exercise for my arm strength. Hayata put it down slightly, but still made Ye Huo a little higher than everyone else. Hagoromo coughed lightly and told the story about Senju Butsuma leading 3,000 Senju ninjas to attack the Hyuga clan. BCCI everyone, what do you think? Yuya asked the question. Hagoromo's greatest advantage is not his great strength, but his ability to listen to everyone's voices. And it's not just a show. He really listens attentively, and makes decisive decisions, and then convinces all the clans to work together to overcome the difficulties. He treated everyone with full respect. Never make amends afterwards. He has done this better than any generation president. Therefore, Hyuga is now extremely open-minded and dares to say anything. You can make your face turn red and your neck thick with noise. This is extremely rare among the entire ninja family. I think we don't have to fight this battle anymore. In the previous battle, we have fully demonstrated our strength. Now is a good time to talk about cooperation. Hyuga Zaifeng still advocated peace. He clearly knew that even if Hyuga won a game, but the overall strength cannot be compared with Senju at all. The Senju clan alone is 10 times larger than the Hyuga clan. And there are a large number of vassal families. Some of those vassal families are not even weaker than Hyuga. I don't agree, this time the Senju clan is coming in force. 3,000 ninjas are pressing down on us, hoping to annex us directly. They haven't learned the lessons of last time at all. This time, we must beat them hard to achieve a favorable situation. Hyuga Nobunaga is still the main battler. Hyuga Zaifeng snorted coldly, the last time we faced 500 Senju ninjas, we were in a mess and almost lost. In the end, we won. It was a sneak attack and a fluke. This time, even Senju Butsuma is here. We can no longer take any chances. Hyuga West Wind, please don't grow up in Senju ambition, destroy my Hyuga majesty. These days, the ninjas of my Hyuga clan have been undergoing rigorous training. They are not what they were a month ago. The clan leaders of the branch sects were arguing endlessly. After arguing for a long time, Yuya signaled them to be quiet, then looked at Ye Huo and said, Ye Huo, you now hold the life and death of 600 Hyuga elites in your hands. What do you think we should do? Chapter 176 Absolutely Overwhelming Power. Chapter 176 Absolutely Overwhelming Power. Asking for help Uchiha. Ye Huo simply spit out 5 words. After listening to Ye Huo's words, the entire conference room suddenly became excited. Please help Uchiha, this is absolutely impossible, Uchiha is just a bunch of lunatics. Yes, Uchiha are all devils. They even kill their own relatives. They are a group of bloodthirsty lunatics who will never help us. If you go to Uchiha for help, you might as well just surrender to Senju. Tianzi's is not that kind. Yes, you must not ask for help Uchiha, oppose it, firmly oppose it. Ye Huo, you are still young and don't know Uchiha's cruelty. Even Nobunaga objected at this time, they even kill their own people, how can they care about our life and death? If we send people there, they will probably be killed by Uchiha. The general reaction of the sub-clan heads present was that they did not support it. Yuya pressed his palms, and everything became quiet. Yuya looked at Ye Huo and said, is there anything else you want to say? Ye Huo slowly expressed his point of view, whether it is Uchiha or Senju, there is no good or evil, only interests. If we are good to the Uchiha, they will be good to us. 1. If we get in the way of the Senju's interests, then they will show evil to us. Hyuga refuses to surrender to Senju. Senju has already shown evil to us. If we go to Uchiha and tell them to join them at this time, I believe that Uchiha will be willing to join forces with us to deal with our goals. Hyuga is a wealthy family. Hyuga and Uchiha team up to deal with Senju. I believe Uchiha is very happy to see this scene. The clan leader of the branch clan fell into thinking for a while, and finally Hyuga Zaifeng said, I'm afraid that Uchiha will sit back and watch our Hyuga and Senju fight to the death, and then they will come out to take advantage. Ye Huo smiled and said, I will tell Uchiha that Hyuga is a small sect and always has to rely on a powerful clan. If they don't help, then Hyuga will completely turn to Senju. By then, Senju's power will increase, and Uchiha's the pressure is even greater. Uchiha will never let us surrender to Senju easily. Uchiha will definitely take action. Hyuga Zaifeng frowned again, and the clan leaders of each branch sect also whispered for a while and began to discuss. When Yuya saw this, he knew that everyone was obviously convinced. Then, I think Ye Huo is a good idea. Just follow Ye Huo's idea and ask for help from Uchiha to tide over the current crisis for the time being. Now, let's discuss who should be sent to Uchiha to talk about asking for help. As soon as Yuya finished speaking, the clan leaders in the field fell silent. Uchiha are all a bunch of crazy people. Ask them for help. I'm afraid I'll be killed directly by them. For a moment, everyone was silent. At this time, Ye Huo slowly said, I came up with this idea, so let me do it. Haya below stood up immediately. He looked a little excited and said hurriedly, I am willing to go. Please give me this task and let me go instead of Ye Huo. Yuya looked at Ye Huo, and Ye Huo said, on this trip, it is enough for me to take only Hayata with me. If there are more, it will be easily discovered by Senju. Muzai was furious, glared at Ye Huo fiercely, and said loudly, Commander, Ye Huo is the hope of my Hyuga clan, there must be no mistakes, and he must not be allowed to go. Yuya touched his chin, looked at Ye Huo and said, what Chief Muzai said makes sense. Ye Huo solemnly said, no one can do this except me. Sir, is my reason sufficient? Yuya sighed when he heard this, your reasons are always so good that I am speechless. The chief is naturally the best candidate. Of course, you need to guard the Hyuga clan and must not leave, so the powerful Hayata is the best choice. At the door, Keiko stood in front of Ye Huo. Ye Huo nodded, he didn't want to say anything, but in the end he left a sentence, I promise you, nothing will happen to you, Hyuga, nothing will happen to you. Otherwise, if someone else went over and was directly overwhelmed by Uchiha's overwhelming power, how could Uchiha take action because of the Hyuga clan? The reason is simple, the people we send must have the power to make Uchiha take enough notice. After saying that, Ye Huo strode away. Hayata represents the backbone of the Hyuga clan, and I represent the potential of the Hyuga clan. As soon as the words fell, Ye Huo strode out of the song and immediately followed. Okay, as you wish, you and Hayata will go to Uchiha to ask for help. Only my great power can defeat the genius of the Uchiha clan. Only by letting Uchiha feel the strength of my Hyuga, can Hyuga have weight in Uchiha's heart, and only in this way can we achieve cooperation. Ye Huo opened his mouth, not knowing what to say. Point 0. Keiko hugged Ye Huo and kissed him gently on the forehead, be careful along the way. Yuya sighed, it's so resolute. Ye Huo immediately jumped down from the chair, without further ado, Hayata and I will set off right away. Chapter 177. A rare genius rarely seen in 1,000 years. Ye Huo and Hyuga Hayata galloped towards Uchiha's tribe. The Senju clan had obviously been prepared for the Hyuga clan to ask for help from Uchiha. Ambushes were set up along several necessary routes. On the road between two peaks, Ye Huo and Hayata ran at full speed. Their feet stepped on a pile of leaves. Suddenly a huge explosion sounded. Boom boom boom. Fire shot into the sky. Smoke and dust were everywhere. Crossbow arrows shot towards the smoke like raindrops. Whoosh whoosh. A dozen figures jumped out from the deep forest on both sides. Wearing armor all over. On his forehead is Senju, a forehead protector from the 740 tribe. A dozen people will stand in a circle. Surround that cloud of smoke. Almost at that moment, suddenly, a childish low shout sounded not far away. Sage Art 8 trigrams 100,000 God's empty palm. The primary super power chakra condenses into spherical energy groups one after another in the palm of the hand. This is a ninjutsu obtained by combining 8 trigrams air palm and Rasengan to increase the power by 100,000 times. Most of the 1,000 primary magic chakras in his body were consumed in an instant. Blow out with a palm. In an instant, more than 500 deep space palms formed spiral energy cannons one after another, covering a dozen Senju ninjas in the distance. The Senju ninjas' face changed drastically, and it was too late to think of a reaction. A series of energy pillars hit their bodies. Their armor was torn to pieces in an instant. They used their powerful chakra to resist large-scale attacks. Then at that moment, Hyuga Hayata's figure fell into the center of a dozen Senju ninjas. 8 trigrams 128 palms. At that moment, Hyuga Hayata struck out countless palms. The meridians of these dozen Senju ninjas were instantly cut off. More than a dozen Senju ninjas lost their fighting power. Ye Huo drew his ninja sword and cut off the necks of these Senju ninjas. Then Ye Huo and Hayata separated again. Let the clone explore the path ahead. They followed carefully and quickly rushed toward Uchiha's tribe. Ye Huo has a junior sage body. Chakra is being replenished every moment. Almost in prime condition. It's almost as fast as ultimate. Hayata followed closely, marveling at Ye Huo's super physique and majestic chakra. And after a while, he will find that a large amount of chakra will burst out of Ye Huo's body. It's simply appalling. Hayata didn't know how Ye Huo had so many chakras. Finally, Ye Huo used the power of the wind attribute to bless the two of them, allowing them to glide short distances. This caused the two people's speed to surge again. The winding mountain road turned into a straight line. The journey that originally took more than a month took only 3 days, but Ye Huo and Liu arrived. Uchiha is a wealthy family. Has a population of 1 million. Their residence is not Dajai, but a large city built of wood and stone. There are patrolling ninjas on the city walls. There are 2 teams of 20 Uchiha ninjas guarding the gate. From a distance, Uchiha's ninjas saw Hayata and Ye Huo speeding towards them. One of Uchiha's ninjas shouted loudly, "Stop, don't come any closer." Ye Huo and Hayata slowly stopped and stood 50 meters away from the city gate. Hayata said loudly, "I am Hyuga Hayata of the Hyuga clan. This is my Ye Huo-sama next to me. The 2 of us represent the 100,000 people of the Hyuga clan, and the 5,000 Hyuga ninjas came to meet with Chief Uchiha Tajima." The Uchiha ninja sneered when he heard this. 100,000 people of Hyuga, 5,000 ninjas, and a mere Hyuga want to see our chief, what a joke. Hayata, teach these watchdogs a lesson. Ye Huo's voice sounded. Hayata grinned, shut condensed in his palm, and he blasted out with a palm. The chakra energy column with a diameter of 30 meters instantly hit Uchiha at the door. Boom. There was a loud noise, and Uchiha's door was blown open. Ye Huo Hayata did not walk in. They were waiting for Uchiha to report the news to Uchiha Tajima. Not long after, a Uchiha guard came to the center of the city. At this time Uchiha Tajima is teaching Uchiha Madara and his brothers. After hearing the news, Uchiha Tajima snorted, "Little Hyuga, how dare you be so presumptuous?" Next to Uchiha Tajima, another tall Uchiha said, "Brother, Senju is attacking Hyuga, why did Axis send people to us?" Uchiha Tajima sneered, "I'm here to ask for help. It's really rare to be so arrogant when asking for help." 4.8 At this time, Madara on the side jumped out and said, "What did you say just now? One of the people coming is Ye Huo, but what about Hyuga Ye Huo?" Uchiha Madara's eyes were filled with fighting spirit. He has heard the name of Hyuga Ye Huo for a long time. This person is not very old, but he is said to be very miraculous, and is known as a peerless heavenly group that is rare to see in Hyuga for thousands of years. He wanted to see how powerful this Ye Huo was. The messenger Uchiha said, "That Ye Huo is a child." Madara was overjoyed, "It must be him. Father, I'll go meet that boy." After saying that, Madara exploded with powerful chakra and jumped towards the city gate. Chapter 178 Kick Madara away. The afterglow of the setting sun fell on Hayata and Ye Huo, leaving long shadows on the ground. The breeze blows, and the hair on the forehead is gently swaying. The 2 looked at the big city in front of them, and soon they felt a strong chakra approaching quickly from the distant city. The man was extremely fast. He jumped to the top of the city in a few blinks and then jumped down from the top of the city. Boom. A dull sound. The ground was sunken, dust was flying, and a strong wind arose. Hayata immediately became nervous. His eyes were wide open, staring at the person in front of him. This is definitely a master. However, when the man opposite him stood up straight and raised his face, Hayata was stunned. This is a face that is too young. He looked only 11 or 12 years old. But the chakra in his body is extremely powerful. Not much worse than him. Is this the strength of the top 12 ninja clans, the Uchiha clan? He is just a young boy, but he possesses such a powerful and majestic chakra. Ye Huo looked at the boy opposite. Wearing a dark blue kimono with a purple belt around his waist, his eyes are bright and his whole body is filled with strong fighting spirit. It was Uchiha Madara in her teenage years. At this time, Uchiha Madara was only 11 or 12 years old. But he has participated in countless battles. Its strength is even more powerful. Its status among the Uchiha clan is equivalent to Ye Huo's status among the Hyuga clan. He is also a young genius, showing his extraordinary talent. Nowadays, Uchiha Madara's strength is bluntly said to be much stronger than the average Jonin in his 20s and 30s. He is truly a proud man of heaven. Uchiha Madara put her hands on her hips, raised her head high, looked at Ye Huo, and said proudly, "Are you the genius of the Hyuga clan, Hyuga Ye Huo?" Ye Huo took a step forward and said slowly, "Exactly, you are Uchiha's #1 genius, Uchiha Madara, right?" Wrong. Madara raised the corner of her mouth and corrected, "I am the #1 genius in the ninja world. I, Uchiha Madara, am the #1 genius in the entire ninja world. With my Sharingan and my powerful strength, one day, I will lead Uchiha and conquer the entire ninja world." Ye Huo said slowly, "After conquering the ninja world, what don't you want to do next?" Uchiha was stunned. He had never thought about this question. In short, conquer first and then talk about the rest. Let's talk about the rest later. Ye Huo shook his head and said, "Madara, you only have fighting in your eyes, and you don't know why you are fighting at all. I can tell you that the purpose of fighting is to resolve the battle. The ultimate goal is to stop the fighting, for peace, and for peace. There will be no more sacrifices for you and my fellow tribesmen, your and my father will not leave without returning, and you and my brothers and sisters will die miserably in the hands of others. For the sake of our loved ones, we have no choice but to take up swords and guns to end this senseless fight." At this time, many Uchiha had come running beside Madara, including Tajima Chia. Hearing Ye Huo's words, the Uchiha clan members were touched, and Tajima looked at Ye Huo in surprise. For our loved ones, the Hyuga clan will fight until the last drop of blood. Ye Huo's voice was sonorous, and his eyes were extremely firm and unshakable. Uchiha Tajima narrowed his eyes. There is really something special about this little Hyuga kid. Uchiha Tien Yutaka on the side said, "Brother, I'm going to kill these two Hyuga." Tajima raised his hand to stop him, anxious. Quote. Uchiha Madara snorted coldly, "Stop talking nonsense, you actually broke the door of our Hyuga clan. Today, I want you to look good." After the words fell, Uchiha Madara bent her legs slightly, pressed down her body, and the powerful chakra suddenly exploded. The ground instantly sunk and spider web-like cracks appeared. His whole body shot towards Ye Huo like a cannonball. The next moment, he was in front of Ye Huo. The right fist hit Ye Huo's face. Ye Huo tilted his head and dodged the blow. At the same time, he raised his left hand and caught Uchiha Madara's punch. Snapped. The fists and palms met, making a dull sound. Huh, you actually blocked 010 my attack. It's kind of interesting. Uchiha Madara raised his center and moved to his left foot, his right leg was like 10 whips whipping towards Ye Huo's waist. Then Ye Huo released his palm and squatted down suddenly. With lightning speed, he swept his leg towards Uchiha Madara's left leg, which was the fulcrum. Uchiha Madara was unsteady on his feet and staggered. Ye Huo stepped forward and kicked Madara in the stomach. Madara immediately flew backwards. Boom. It fell to the ground more than 10 meters away. The pupils of the Uchiha people shrank slightly. They know very well how good Madara's physical skills are. Unexpectedly, he was defeated immediately. And the other person was just a child who looked to be only 5 or 6 years old. Could it be that the Hyuga clan is so strong? You brat, you're looking for death. Blood red suddenly appeared in Madara's eyes, and her Magatama eyes turned rapidly, feeling ashamed and angry in her heart. He is Uchiha's genius, and he is 5 or 6 years older than Ye Huo, yet he was kicked by Ye Huo. He cannot tolerate this kind of thing. Chapter 179I, Madara, would like to call you the strongest in physical skills. Sharingan, the young commander has used Sharingan. This brat from the Hyuga clan is doomed. Ha ha ha, come on, young commander, let Hyuga's brats know how powerful our Uchiha I technique is. The young master wants the brats of the Hyuga clan to know that our Uchiha's I skills are the strongest, and the Byakugan cannot compare with our Uchiha's I skills. Uchiha Tianfeng crossed his arms across his chest and sneered, the Hyuga clan is really a little arrogant. They dare to compete with me, Uchiha, in I skills. They are really looking for death. Uchiha Tajima didn't speak, his eyes flickered and he looked at Hyuga Hayata. From this young man's body, he felt a powerful calendar. The Hyuga clan seemed not as weak as he thought. Uchiha Tajima suddenly asked, I heard that Senju Morima was seriously injured recently and is still lying in bed. How did he get injured? Tien Fengdao, I heard that it was attacked by Hagoromo, the old immortal of the Hyuga clan. Tajima frowned slightly and said slowly, if I remember correctly, you didn't win the last time you fought Morima, right? Tien Feng's face looked a little ugly. Brother, my strength has increased greatly in the past few years. If I meet Senju Morima again, he will definitely not be my opponent. It seems that Hagoromo's strength is not inferior to that of you and Senju Morima. Tajima turned his attention to the battle on the field. Uchiha Madara opened Sharingan, and her speed and agility increased rapidly, especially her reaction speed, which was almost 10 times higher than before. At that moment, Uchiha Madara rushed in front of Ye Huo and swept Ye Huo with a heavy leg. Ye Huo squatted down to block it, grabbed a handful of sand with his palm, and pointed it towards Uchiha Madara's eyes. Uchiha Madara dodged instantly, ducked behind Ye Huo, and punched Ye Huo in the back of the head. Ye Huo rolled around like a lazy donkey and avoided the fatal blow. Madara attacked Ye Huo crazily, shouting, Hyuga kid, take action, jump around, are you a monkey? Boom. Madara slashed at Ye Huo. Ye Huo dodged again. The ground where it was originally shattered instantly, with spiderweb-like cracks appearing. Ye Huo jumped to the side and said calmly, if I take action, you will die. Madara was stunned when she heard this, then raised her head and laughed, arrogant Hyuga brat, I have to tear your bones apart today. Madara quickly formed seals with her hands. His chest swelled. A large amount of chakra condenses quickly. Fire-style Great Fireball. At that moment, Uchiha Madara spit out a huge Great Fireball with a diameter of 5 meters. The blazing flames twisted the air. Fiery waves of fire swept around. The flame burned and made a crackling sound. Wherever it passed, a burn mark half a meter deep was left on the ground. The fireball was extremely fast and arrived in front of Ye Huo in an instant. Ye Huo took a stance, tightened his right palm around his waist, and a chakra energy block containing the wind attribute quickly condensed in his palm. Super powerful 8 trigrams God's palm of the sky and wind. At that moment, Ye Huo struck out with a palm. This palm combines the power of 8 trigrams air palm, Rasengan and wind attribute changes. A palm shot out, instantly piercing Uchiha Madara's great fireball. Wiping Uchiha Madara's forehead, it hit the wall behind him. Boom. The explosion suddenly sounded. Uchiha Madara quickly retreated. His eyes glanced towards the city. It was built of huge rocks. A solid city wall with a thickness of 5 meters. A big hole was punched out by the mighty 8 trigrams God Sky Wind God Palm. Uchiha Madara narrowed her eyes. He clearly saw that the hole was extremely smooth. There's nothing broken around. It looks like it was drilled out with a drill. Madara slowly turned back to look at Ye Huo, her expression extremely solemn. I really didn't expect that you actually have such a powerful power in your body. Quote. I underestimated you. In terms of physical skills, I would like to call you the strongest. However, taijutsu is just taijutsu after all and cannot be compared with ninjutsu. Madara quickly formed seals with her hands. An even larger amount of chakra gathered in his chest. The flames keep releasing, revolving heaven keeps revolving the flames. At that moment, Ye Huo formed a seal with his hands. Madara held the Uchiha fan in her left hand and suddenly deflected the 8 trigrams divine sky palm. Ye Huo used revolving heaven again and deflected the 8 trigrams divine sky palm. Powerful shadow clone. The next moment, Madara leaned forward and spat out, fire style. 8 trigrams wind style shuriken revolving heaven. In the end, the fire was extinguished but gradually dissipated. In an instant, the 2 top geniuses in the ninja world fought fiercely together again. Uchiha bounced back. Single quote. Revolving heaven gradually stopped. In an instant, a huge flame like a wave rolled towards Hayata and Ye Huo. The piercing howl is generated centered on Ye Huo. A large number of wind blades rotated at high speed, driving waves of flames towards the county in midair. At that moment, the clone turned left and the main body, Wang Liao, turned right. The clone and main body release a large amount of chakra to change the wind attribute. The next moment, a clone of Ye Huo appeared. Immediately afterwards, Ye Huo struck out with another palm, 8 trigrams God Sky Palm. A beam of chakra light shot towards Madara. Chapter 180. Becoming a god with one palm. Continuous explosions continued. The fierce battle between Uchiha Madara and Ye Huo reached a fever pitch. Uchiha Tianfeng said, Brother, this Hyuga brat is very likely to become our enemy in the future, why not kill him now? Uchiha Tajima said, I didn't expect that Hyuga would be so powerful. It seems that they have been hiding it for so many years. This Ye Huo cannot stay, but he cannot die here with us. He must die in the hands of the Senju clan. Do you understand? Uchiha Tianfeng nodded and said, Don't worry, brother, I will handle this matter. A smile appeared on Tajima's lips. On the court, Uchiha Madara waved her fan and kept deflecting Ye Huo's attacks. Ye Huo frowned. This Sharingan plus this Uchiha rebound is really annoying. However, let me see how you can defend against this move. Ye Huo rolled his eyes and activated ultimate. In his eyes, Uchiha's facial form completely disappeared. All he saw was a human body meridian diagram rushing towards him. Ye Huo put on a strange posture. 8 trigrams patterns appear around the body. 613. Uchiha Madara stepped on the 8 trigrams pattern. Ye Huo raised the corner of his mouth and sneered, It's over. Uchiha Madara has never fought against Hyuga. Tian Feng behind him couldn't help but remind him, Young commander, be careful, that is the Hyuga clan's secret technique 8 trigrams 64 palms. Don't get close to him. It's too late to remind you now. Ye Huo pointed like a sword, and a powerful chakra knife burst out from his palm, and it was attached with the power of the wind blade. 8 trigrams 6.4 million wind god palms. 2 palms. 2 chakra wind blades instantly penetrated 2 large holes in Uchiha Madara's body. The powerful chakra and wind blade penetrated his body directly. 2 lines of blood burst out from his back. Uchiha Madara screamed. Almost at the same time, his 3 Magatama turned to ultimate, forming a strange pupil. That's the Menkatomi Sharingan. A powerful and vast chakra suddenly appeared on the surface of the body. This chakra condensed into blue bones and stood in front of him. Suzuo. Ye Huo's expression changed slightly. He knew Suzuo too well. He knew how powerful Suzuo was. 4 palms, 8 palms, 16 palms, 32 palms. At that moment, Ye Huo took 32 palms. Each palm's chakra wind blade has experienced thousands of impacts. Although Shizuo was powerful, countless cracks also appeared under such a dense and sharp instant impact. 64 palms. Ye Huo shouted loudly, and at that moment, the remaining 32 palms exploded instantly. Then he saw palm shadows in all directions. The terrifying chakra knife and wind blade impacted thousands of times at that moment. The powerful and sharp blade instantly penetrated Suzuo's protection. 8 trigrams the remaining power of the 6.4 million wind god's palm hit Uchiha Madara's body. Uchiha Madara let out a scream. The whole body flew backwards for more than 100 meters. It hit the wall hard. His body was covered in blood. Uchiha Tajima was in front of Uchiha Madara in an instant. After a brief inspection, Tajima's expression turned extremely ugly. A chakra as vast as the sea and as huge as a mountain suddenly erupted. The invisible chakra condensed into 2 big hands and instantly grabbed Che Yu and Ye Huo. Hayata struggled hard but couldn't get away at all. Hayata was shocked. In front of Uchiha Tajima, he had no power to resist at all. Is this the power of the leader of the Uchiha clan? Horrible. He is no match at all. I am simply not on the same level as him. Ye Huo's expression remained unchanged and he said calmly, if you want your son to become a waste, then kill both of us. Uchiha Tajima looked at Ye Huo with a gloomy face, can you restore Madara to her original state? Ye Huo said calmly, of course, but if you keep holding on to me like this, after a while, I can't guarantee it. Uchiha Tajima hesitated for a while, then Tien Feng said, brother, I, Hyuga, have been cooperating with Senju for a long time. This kid was sent by them to target Madara, and we must not let them go. Ye Huo sneered, what a joke, my potential is far higher than Uchiha Madara. Could Hyuga be so stupid as to trade me for Uchiha Madara? Although Tajima doesn't want to admit it. But Ye Huo does have greater potential than Madara. Hyuga Hagoromo is that old fox. I definitely won't let Ye Huo come and die. Tajima let go of Ye Huo, but did not let go of Hayata, cure my son first. Ye Huo didn't say much, walked to Madara's side and took off his clothes. Chakra condensed in his palm and turned into a golden ball of light. The next moment, the injuries on Madara Mountain began to slowly recover. Ye Huo is afraid that his heaven-defying ability will be jealous of Uchiha. Therefore, the treatment time was deliberately prolonged. It wasn't until the early morning of the next day that Ye Huo ended the treatment. Uchiha Madara has fully recovered from her injuries. Uchiha Madara moved his body, nodded to his father and said, Father, there is nothing serious about me. Uchiha Tajima was shocked that such a serious injury was saved in just one night. What kind of ninjutsu is this? This boy must not be kept. Chapter 181 The Strongest Eye. Uchiha respects the strong. Ye Huo's strong strength and talent impressed Madara. Madara clenched her fists and looked at Ye Huo and said, Sharingan is the strongest. Now that my myriad eyes have just awakened, I can't fully control its power. But soon, I will be able to control this power, and when the time comes, I will fight you again. I will definitely win. The corners of Ye Huo's mouth raised slightly. The young Madara is bold and has no scheming. This is very good. Okay, I'm waiting for another fight with you. Ye Huo turned his eyes to Uchiha Tajima and said, Chief Tajima, I have rescued Madara. Now, can we talk about Uchiha sending troops to join forces with Hyuga to deal with Senju? Tajima glanced at Ye Huo, who stood upright, arms crossed across his chest, and the corners of his mouth raised. When did I agree to join hands with Hyuga to deal with Pai Y? Quote. Ye Huo said slowly, Commander Tajima, are you really bullying Ye Huo? Don't you understand the situation in the ninja world? Tajima looked at Ye Huo, who was young but always sounded like an adult and said with a smile, do you also understand the situation in the ninja world? Ye Huo looked around and said, Commander Tajima, why don't you just let Hyuga's envoys talk freely outside the city? This is not in line with the behavior of the largest clan in the ninja world. Ye Huo gave Uchiha a high hat. The members of the Uchiha clan all looked very proud when they heard this. I have a lot of respect for Ye Huo. Ye Huo's power and astonishment left them in awe. Such people praised Uchiha as the largest clan, and Uchiha felt very proud. Father, this is really not the place to talk. Let them go in first. Young Commander Uchiha Madara expressed his position, and the others followed suit. Uchiha's face could not be lost. Tajima narrowed her eyes slightly. He found that this kid was unexpectedly difficult to deal with. No wonder that old fox in Hagoromo let this little thing come to Uchiha. Okay, Hyuga's little envoy, please come inside. After speaking, Tajima turned around and strode towards the city. At this time, Uchiha also heard about it. An envoy from the Hyuga clan came to Uchiha. And he took action and seriously injured the young commander Uchiha Madara. They also wanted to see what this kid from the Hyuga clan would look like, with 3 heads and 6 arms. All eyes looked towards Ye Huo. They were all surprised when they saw Ye Huo's appearance. So young, only 5 or 6 years old, right? He was the one who defeated the young commander. That's impossible. Look at his eyes, there are no pupils. Is this the Byakugan of the Hyuga clan? I heard that the Hyuga clan's Byakugan can see 360 degrees, and their vision is even better than our Uchiha's Sharingan. Fart, our Uchiha Sharingan is the strongest. The Uchiha tribesmen were talking to each other. Ye Huo cast his eyes and looked at the situation in the city. He can conclude that the cooperation between Hyuga and Uchiha will definitely be achieved. He can also conclude, in the future, Hyuga will eventually have a battle with Uchiha and even Senju. Today we have arrived at Uchiha's base camp. Then be sure to take a closer look at Uchiha's situation. Be prepared for future wars. Under the powerful observation power of Byakugan. There is little to hide in Uchiha's case. Ye Huo felt the power of the Uchiha clan as a major clan in the ninja world. There are tens of thousands of ninjas in the city. Among them, there are nearly 100 people who are similar to Chakra and Hayata. There are many people who are stronger than Hayata. The Uchiha Tien Yutaka in front of him was so powerful that he was not inferior to Hagoromo. Please give me flowers. And that Uchiha Tajima, its strength, Ye Huo has been unable to estimate. In short, it must be extremely terrifying. Ye Huo felt a little worried. Senju Butsuma is an existence of the same level as Chief Uchiha. If he takes action, will the Hyuga family be spared? He still underestimated the ninjas in this world. Ye Huo followed Tajima to Uchiha's hall. A servant brought tea. Ye Huo and others drank tea, and then slowly said, "Just now, the president asked Ye Huo if Ye Huo also knows the situation in the ninja world." Ye Huo, to put it simply, in today's ninja world, Uchiha and Senju are the two giants. In the future, Uchiha and Senju will definitely have a decisive battle. Now the Senju clan is actively wooing the major families in the ninja world. I want to absorb external power to increase my own strength. When I have enough strength, I will fight Uchiha to become the best in the ninja world. Senju Butsuma is a generation of heroes. Under his leadership, Senju's power is rapidly increasing. If Uchiha does not respond, it will be dangerous in the future. Tian Feng snorted coldly, "They are just trash fish. Why should I, Uchiha, be afraid of them?" The corner of Ye Huo's lips curled up slightly, but just now, I, a bastard from Hyuga, defeated your Uchiha. Tian Feng's face turned cold. Tajima changed the subject. "You continue." Chief Tajima, although our Hyuga clan is powerful, we are certainly no match for Senju and Uchiha. In the future, I, Hyuga, will always choose a force to join. It's either Senju or Uchiha. If Uchiha doesn't help Hyuga, then the head of my family has said that he has no other choice but to submit to Senju Dai. Chapter 182, Shock Uchiha. Tian Feng sneered, "Hyuga Yuya, what a wimp. Ye Huo is neither angry nor angry, this is the general trend of the world. If we don't return to Senju, we will return to Uchiha. We Hyuga can only follow the trend to have a chance of survival." Chief Tajima, what do you think of Ye Huo's words? Uchiha Tajima's whole body suddenly emitted extremely powerful chakra. This chakra is like a mountain and a sea forcing Ye Huo and Hayata. Beads of sweat overflowed from Hayata's forehead. This Uchiha Tajima is too strong. Too strong. Ye Huo sat there, calm and composed, not affected at all. Tajima was surprised. 260. Hyuga is really a monster. Are you threatening me? Tajima's voice suddenly dropped. Am I, Uchiha, still afraid of a mere Hyuga joining Senju? Ye Huo said, Ye Huo is just stating the facts. Of course Uchiha is not afraid of Hyuga, but as time goes by, there will be a second Hyuga, and a third Hyuga will join Senju. I heard that Inoshika Cho seems to be interested in joining Senju. Tajima's eyes changed. After a moment, he suddenly removed all the chakra and laughed loudly. Hyuga kid, you are very good. To tell you the truth, I got the news when Senju Butsuma left the Senju clan. Even if you don't come, I'm still going to take action against the Senju clan. Uchiha Tianfeng's face changed when he heard this, and he immediately said, brother. Tajima waved his hand to stop Tianfeng. He slowly turned around and turned his back to Ye Huo. However, he glanced at Ye Huo from the corner of his eye and said to Tianfeng, I have made up my mind. Go and prepare quickly. Don't miss this opportunity. It will never come again. Do you understand? Tianfeng rolled his eyes, glanced at Ye Huo, then looked at Tajima and nodded heavily. Don't worry, brother, I'll go there myself. A smile appeared on Tajima's lips. Okay, go get ready. Tianfeng strode away. Ye Huo looked at Tajima and said with a smile, the commander-in-chief turned out to have been prepared for it, and I came in time. Director Tajima, we have been away from Hyuga for a few days, and it will take some time to get back. With that said, Ye Huo was about to stand up and leave Uchiha. However, Tajima came over, pressed Ye Huo's shoulders and smiled. Don't be in a hurry, since you are here, you always have to appreciate Uchiha's customs, otherwise that old man Yuya will say that I, Uchiha, did not provide good hospitality. Quote. Hayata's expression changed. The thing I was most worried about happened. Tajima wants to keep them by force. They're just afraid they won't be able to leave Uchiha. Hayata knew he was no match. But also starts stirring up the chakra in the body. Tajima glanced at Hayata, with a hint of contempt on the corner of his mouth. But Ye Huo smiled at this time and said, I'm not afraid of Chief Tajima's jokes. I made an agreement with our Chief Hagoromo before coming here. If we do not go back on time, or if reinforcements do not arrive before July 3rd, it means that Chief Tajima has rejected our request and killed both of us. Chief Hagoromo should not fight head-on with the Senju. He can lead the 10,000 Hyuga ninjas of the Hyuga clan and 100,000 Hyuga people to surrender to the Senju to preserve the Hyuga bloodline. Tajima stared slightly. Hyuga, 10,000 ninjas. Ye Huo said with a smile, it is much easier for Hyuga to activate the Byakugan than it is for Uchiha to activate the Sharingan, so there are a lot of ninjas, but most of them are not very powerful, they just make up the numbers. 7. Ye Huo's true and false sentences made it impossible for Tajima to distinguish. Tajima's eyes flashed, and then he smiled and said, well, if that's the case, then I can't force you to stay. Madara, you can send it off for me. Yes, father. Uchiha Madara made a gesture and said, please. Farewell. Ye Huo returned the salute and walked out. It's hard to say, it could be 4.3 Uchiha or Senju, cast shadow clone. Ye Huo formed a seal with his hands, and at that moment, more than 100 shadow clone were created. They are all dressed in the clothes of the Senju clan. Tian Feng used Sharingan, but couldn't tell his true identity. Tian Feng's face suddenly turned ugly. After a while, Ye Huo's expression in front changed. Hayata's expression changed. Is he from Uchiha? And on the top of a high mountain, Uchiha Tianfeng was staring at Ye Huo's figure. In an instant, 101 pairs of Ye Huo and Hayata scattered in all directions. But the strange thing is that they are not wearing Uchiha clothes. A sneer appeared on Uchiha Tianfeng's lips. Tian Feng waved his hand, and in an instant, more than a dozen figures ran towards the distance. And there are several members of the Senju clan in his hands. He gritted his teeth and said, "What a cunning brat." Not long after, Ye Huo and Hayata left the big city of Uchiha and ran quickly into the distance into the mountains. Tian Feng, who was far away, was stunned for a moment, then sneered and said, "Separate yourself and see how I can see through you." Then he said to Hayata, "No, we are being followed." That Hayata also separated out more than 100 shadow clone. Split up and chase. Tian Feng also used his clones and chased in all directions. Chapter 183. 100,000 times reward, super power. Transformation technique. Extremely fast golden winged rock. Boom boom boom. There was a huge roar in the distance. The clone has already started fighting with the pursuers. Crack death time. The powerful 8 trigrams deep space wind god palm strikes out continuously. The clone's strength is much stronger than Ye Huo's body. The pursuers didn't pay attention for a moment, and were killed and injured by Ye Huo's clone. No one expected that the different avatars could be so powerful. But even so, these clones are no match for Tian Feng's clone. The pupil power of Tian Feng's 10,000 flowers eyes is the power that he can condense powerful ninjutsu. After the increase in pupil power, the strength of Tian Li's clone is very close to that of the main body. This is definitely a powerful eye force. Explosions continued. Ye Huo's clones were almost completely wiped out. The information from the clone also let Ye Huo know who the people who came to attack them were. Hayata was furious. 12. These Uchiha bastards, they clearly promised to cooperate with us, but they attacked us secretly. Ye Huo said calmly, "If I were Uchiha, Ye Huo would make the same choice and would never let go of a threat with huge potential." Hayata looked ugly. Then this time, didn't we come in vain? Now they will definitely not help us come here again. No, Hayata, remember, there is no eternal hatred, and there is no eternal good, only interests are eternal. Even if Uchiha finds out we already know they were the ones who attacked us. They will also send troops because we have the same interest, which is to defeat Kianzu. No, Tian Feng is coming. Young commander, you go first and I'll stop them. As he said this, Hayata turned around and was about to stop. But Ye Huo grabbed Hayata and threw him directly into the air. The next moment, Ye Huo formed a seal with his hands, and his body instantly changed into an eagle. The 100 clones that Ye Huo created before were not only used to confuse the enemy. The clone has been practicing the transformation technique. At this time, the experience of a clone is concentrated on the ontology. Ye Huo learned the transformation technique almost instantly. Ding! Congratulations to host for developing the new ninjutsu transformation technique Eagle. 100,000 times reward trigger. A wide variety of transformation techniques. Super powerful transformation technique extremely fast golden winged rock. Ye Huo took a quick look at the 2 rewards. A wide variety of transformation techniques. It can transform into many kinds of objects. This transformation technique can fool ordinary ninjas. But there is no way to fool Uchiha's Sharingan. Naturally, the extremely fast golden winged rock cannot escape Sharingan's observation. But he can get off the ground. And get blazing speeds. It's a good choice to get out of the battlefield. I choose the super powerful transformation technique, the extremely fast golden winged rock. The next moment, Ye Huo's body changed again. The giant eagle's body suddenly grew in size. It turned into a huge bird with a wingspan of nearly 100 meters. The whole body is covered with golden feathers, shining with dazzling golden light under the sunlight. With a burst of wings, a strong wind swept across, and the extremely fast golden winged rock soared into the sky. The huge claws grabbed Hayata. The whole person turned into a stream of golden light and rushed towards the sky. His body was submerged in the clouds thousands of miles high and disappeared without a trace. Almost at the same time, Uchiha Tianfeng's figure had fallen to the ground where Ye Huo left. Tian Feng looked up at the sky and roared angrily. He smashed the head of the Senju tribesman he was carrying with him. This thing used to frame Senju is useless. High in the sky, Hyuga Hayata couldn't help shouting loudly, "Master Ye Huo, when did you learn such a powerful transformation technique?" The voice of Ye Huo came out of the mouth of the extremely fast golden winged Dapeng, just now. Ye Huo lowered his head and looked down. Then you can see the mountains are like tigers, stretching endlessly. The river is like a dragon, meandering for thousands of miles. The world of ninja is also spectacular and beautiful. It's a pity that there are wolf smoke rising into the sky in the distance. That is the direction of the Hyuga clan. Ye Huo's heart was awe-inspiring, his wings fluttered, and his speed increased sharply again. The journey that originally took the rest of the month, Ye Huo flapped his wings and flew there in less than an hour. Below, the ninjas of the Senju clan are attacking the Hyuga clan's stronghold with siege weapons. Rows of ballistae were pushed over. A ninja of 110 Senju began to load these crossbows with arrows, and fired the arrows with detonating symbols on them toward Hyuga's competition. Whoosh whoosh. Crossbow arrows shot into the Hyuga stronghold. A low shout sounded in the village. 8 trigrams air palm. One after another the palm power was blasted out continuously. But the crossbow arrow still passed through the heavy palm force and shot into the Hyuga stronghold. Puff. One unlucky ninja was shot straight through the body. The huge crossbow arrow took his body and shot directly into Wooden House C. Boom. There was an explosion. The detonator releases huge amounts of energy and fire. The whole house was blown away by the air wave. Streams of fire shot into the sky. The sound of crying and wailing from the women and children of the Hyuga clan could be heard in the village. I'm going to destroy their crossbow array. A Hyuga ninja rushed out. Come back. Don't go out and die. As soon as the other ninja's voice fell, the ninja who jumped out was shot through the body. Damn Chibi. Chapter 184 V's God of Ninja. Damn Senju, using a ballista. Master Ye Huo, let me down. Ye Huo snorted coldly, if you go down now, you will die. Then what should we do? If these ballistas are not destroyed, Hyuga will be finished. Hayata was extremely anxious. Ye Huo pondered for a moment, then suddenly said, I'll swoop down, prepare your 8 trigrams divine air palm, and send out an instant strike to destroy all those ballistae. Okay. Hayata put on a posture, with a large amount of chakra condensed in it. Ye Huo let out a sharp roar. The scream was sharp and harsh, reaching straight into the sky. The ninjas of the Senju clan heard the roar and looked up into the air. Then he saw an extremely huge golden eagle in midair. The eagle spreads its wings, reflecting the dazzling golden light, and the rich man's eyes. The eagle's speed was so fast that it swooped down in just an instant, only 3 meters above the ground. The next moment, he rushed towards the ballista arrow array at a speed beyond the reach of the naked eye. Hayata. Ye Huo roared. 8 trigrams Kami Sora palm. At that moment, all the chakra in Hayata's body was drained. A huge blue chakra energy pillar with a diameter of 50 meters instantly hit the rows of ballistas. At that moment, the ballista and the ninjas of the Senju clan were instantly defeated. The ballista fell apart, and the Senju ninja died tragically on the spot, or was seriously injured and flew upside down. For a moment, there were screams and the detonating symbols exploded one after another. The nearby kunai and shurikens were blown away in all directions. Killed and injured many members of the Senju clan. There was a sudden commotion throughout the Senju camp. At this time, Ye Huo and Hayata had already flown hundreds of meters into the sky. Hayata laughed loudly and said, Sir Ye Huo, let's do it again. Ye Huo did not reply to Hayata's words, but looked at a young man in the crowd below. That's a watermelon head. A pair of eyebrows were raised high. He was looking up at Ye Huo. At that moment, a wooden hammer appeared in the palm of the watermelon-headed boy. The next moment, the watermelon-headed boy bent his legs slightly, extended his right hand towards the back, and the powerful chakra suddenly exploded. The ground suddenly shattered, forming spider web-like cracks. His right hand exerted force suddenly, and the wooden hammer suddenly shot towards Ye Huo. Call out. The wooden hammer made a sound of breaking through the air. Shoot into Ye Huo's abdomen. Ye Huo was surprised. Instantly disarms the transformation technique. Only then did Mujao fail. The watermelon-headed boy below showed a smile on his lips, and his eyes shined with divine light, shining directly at Ye Huo. Hey, the little guy above, you are the Hyuga Ye Huo from the Hyuga clan, right? Ye Huo ignored the watermelon head and activated the power of wind style to wrap Hayata and fly towards Hyuga Dajai. Hayata's forehead was dripping with cold sweat, and he couldn't help but said, Master Ye Huo, who is that young man? He can be so strong. The young leader of the Senju clan, Senju Hashirama. Hayata's face changed slightly. He is the genius ninja in the ninja world who is as famous as Uchiha Madara, Senju Hashirama. It's really scary. You are so young, but you have so much power. In a blink of an eye, Ye Mie and Hayata fell into the Hyuga Hall King. The return of Hayata and Ye Huo caused an uproar among the Hyuga clan. Hyuga Hagoromo hurried over, and the first thing he said was, How is it? Has Uchiha agreed to rescue? Ye Huo nodded and said, Chief Uchiha Tajima personally promised that he will send ninjas to assist us. Yuya looked excited. Then when will they come? Before July 3rd. Ye Huo Kaido. Today is only June 27th, and now the Senju offensive is in full swing. How can we survive until July 3rd? Ye Huo said, There is nothing we can do about it. No matter how fast they go, it will take time to get here. Hayata said, Clan leader, don't worry, we have just destroyed the opponent's ballista. For a while, they have no weapons to attack Dajai. Quote. Hagoromo sighed, what you don't know is that the wood style of Senju Hashirama of the Senju clan is really difficult to produce. He can easily use the wood style to make a ballista and a wooden hammer. In less than an hour, their crossbows will be remade, and the detonating talisman, they don't know how many preparations they have made. It seems that the only way we can surrender is to surrender. Yuya sighed and turned his attention to Ye Huo. Ye Huo frowned slightly, then turned and walked towards the door, and said, Senju Hashirama, leave it to me. Ye Huo, then I'll leave it to you. Get Li. A smile of success appeared on the corner of Yu Yi's mouth. I'll go help Ye Huo-sama. Hayata was about to move, but Hagoromo said, come back here. Hayata was anxious. Commander, a mortal heavenly man is going to die alone. Hagoromo glanced at Hayata and cursed angrily, I said you are such an idiot. You have been following this brat for so long. Don't you still know that as long as he agrees, he must be very sure. Just watch, he will definitely create a miracle. Senju's attack paused. There is no longer the suppression of the ballista and the detonating talisman. In addition, the clan shouted Ye Huo to go to Uchiha and asked for reinforcements. This made the morale of the ninjas of the Hyuga clan high and the counterattack was particularly strong. Chapter 185 Ye Huo Senju Hashirama. Countless detonating symbols and kunai were projected towards the Senju ninja in front. A large number of detonating symbols exploded among Senju's ninjas. Killed and injured a large number of Senju ninjas. Hayata and Hagoromo stood on the defensive spy halfway up the mountain and stared down. The Senju ninjas receded like a tide. Bodies were left on the ground. Most of the corpses belonged to the Hyuga clan. Only a few are from the Senju clan. Senju was clearly on the offensive side, so he should have been injured more. However, Senju's strong personal strength, terrifying combat skills, and the assistance of various siege equipment minimized their casualties. Blood stained the ground red. A large number of wooden hammers, kunai, and shurikens were also scattered on the ground. Especially below the village gate. The corpses were piled up to a height of 4 to 5 meters. The ones in white clothes are the ninja corpses of the Hyuga clan. Green clothing is the remnant of the Senju clan. War is cruel to these ordinary ninjas. No matter 407 their last name. Squeaky. The door to the Hyuga clan opens. The ninjas from the Senju clan heard the sound and looked over. The Hyuga ninjas on the top of the city also cast their gazes. At this time, why did the village gate suddenly open? In the spotlight, a figure that was petite but gave people a sense of endless power walked out. He slowly walked up to the top of the mountain of corpses. The snow-white clothes are even whiter against the red and black blood stains. The childish but determined little face tells the cruelty of this era. It's Ye Huo, it's Lord Ye Huo. Master Ye Huo, why are you going out at this time? What if Senju's people attack? Master Ye Huo, come back. The ninja above shouted. However, Ye Huo walked towards Senju's position in the distance. On Senju's side, a tall man looked at Ye Huo. Men are different from ordinary Senju ninjas. He was wearing blood-red armor, with the Senju clan's forehead protector on his head, and a sword on his back. His face was pale, his eyes were sharp, and his voice was cold to the bone. Is that brat from the Hyuga clan? Next to the man, Kaido, a Senju tribesman, said, Chief, yes, that is the culprit that caused the failure of our last attack on Hyuga Ye Huo. This man is really the contemporary patriarch of the Senju clan. He is as famous as Uchiha Tajima and is known as the strongest man in the ninja world, Senju Butsuma. Butsuma narrowed his eyes slightly, how dare this kid run out alone? Then, Ye Huo stopped 500 meters away from the Senju camp. Ye Huo took a deep breath and said with chakra-amplified voice, I heard that your Senju clan has a once-in-a-century genius, Senju Hashirama. What a coincidence, I, Hyuga Ye Huo, am also Hyuga's once-in-a-century genius. Isn't your Senju clan known as the largest clan in the ninja world? Let your Senju Hashirama come out and compete with me. Let the ninja world see whether the genius of the Hyuga clan is more powerful or the genius of you, the so-called Senju clan BCBH, the largest clan in the ninja world. If you don't dare to compete and know that you are no match for me, then get out of our Hyuga clan's territory as soon as possible. As soon as Ye Huo said this, Senju suddenly became noisy. You're the brat from the Hyuga clan across the way, do you want to compete with our young master? Kid, who do you think you are? The young leader of our Senju clan can kill you with just one finger. Young patriarch, kill that arrogant Hyuga brat. Young patriarch, beat him to death. The watermelon-headed boy Senju Hashirama came over. The surging chakra in his body was stirring. Looking at Ye Huo's eyes, he said, Father, I know him well. Butsuma stretched out his hand to stop Hashirama, then looked at Tobarama and said, You have fought against him. How is his strength? Tobarama said solemnly, Very strong. How is it compared to your older brother? This. Tobarama hesitated, then said after a moment, It should be as good as big brother. Butsuma frowned, and then said to Hashirama, Kill him. Hashirama nodded and walked in the direction of Ye Huo. The two stood 50 meters apart. He gradually looked at Ye Huo and said with a smile, You were the big bird before. Your ninjutsu is very interesting. Ye Huo slowly pulled out the dagger from behind, held it tightly with both hands, and pointed the tip of the sword at Hashirama. I heard that your wood style is very powerful, I hope you won't disappoint me. Hashirama burst out laughing. Don't worry, I won't let you down. After the words fell, his hands formed seals. Bang! There was a soft sound, and a cloud of smoke exploded in front of him. The smoke dissipated, revealing a huge shuriken. Hashirama held the shuriken in his right hand and rushed towards Ye Huo. Hashirama quickly formed seals with both hands at the same time. Shuriken Shadow Clone Technique. The next moment, the huge shuriken suddenly split into dozens, shooting at Ye Huo from all directions. Ye Huo's eyes were fixed on Senju Hashirama's movements. Byakugan possesses powerful powers of observation. He understood how Senju Hashirama's chakra works. Plus he incorporates the Shadow Clone Technique. He immediately understood the secret of this ninjutsu. Ye Huo took out a shuriken.